Jack, it says you're on.
We ready?
Yep,
We're still early.
1 minute.
Oh. Did you give me the 1 minute?
30 seconds. Gotta hit your button.
I know. I haven't got that yet.
Okay.
How about that? How about that?
5-6. Okay.
Good evening. My name is Jack Dearborn, Chairman of Town of Ware Select Board. This is the May 18th meeting at 6 p.m. First is call to order. Pledge of allegiance, please. Please rise.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Chief, want to do the honors?
Sure. So I am here to make a motion to permanently designate Officer Austin McGuire to the rank of Police Supervisor 1 Corporal for the town of Ware. Officer McGuire shall remain at a step 6 rate of pay on the police department pay scale. His date of promotion shall remain March 6, 2026, the date he was designated as acting corporal. If approved, the BOS chair will administer his oath of office. Anything else? Good.
Say anything on behalf of Austin? Before I swear him in?
He's got a lot of experience with this, so good choice.
So Jack, if you want to come around, he's got the same piece of paper, so it makes it easier.
Oh, so. You're the old pro at this, so.
I, Austin McGuire,
Do solemnly swear and affirm
do solemnly swear and affirm
that I shall faithfully and impartially
that I will faithfully and impartially
discharge and perform all duties incumbent on me
discharge and perform all duties incumbent upon me
as corporal,
as a police corporal,
as according to the best of my abilities,
according to the best of my abilities,
agreeably to the rules and regulations
agreeably to the rules and regulations
of this Constitution
of this Constitution
and the laws of the state of New Hampshire,
and the laws of the state of New Hampshire,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Thanks, right.
Oh, he's got it.
Austin?
Ain't done till the paperwork's done.
Hang on. Little girl's done. His little girl's done.
What do we need to do?
Go ahead.
Oh,
All right, go ahead.
He's got a Clark shirt on.
Austin, when you're done, tell the girls around you.
At least Austin knows like his kids are as tall as me.
Not too bad. Austin, while you're down there, turn around. Hey, girls, no, one picture.
There you go.
Ready?
good job.
Do we need to make that motion?
I think you already made, the other motion was already made to do it temporarily, because he's not changing his rate.
Okay,
Okay,
just want to make sure.
We're good.
all right, we're good.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you.
Swear, guys.
Jack, you administered the oath, can you sign there too? And I'll get it Pam in the morning.
I do that right?
As long as you signed above your name. Thank you guys.
Oh. Anybody here for public comment? Good.
Oh, I'll probably just run up real quick.
Okay, go ahead. You're on later though.
You
say what?
You're on later.
Solid waste.
Okay, so you're gonna, I didn't know if you were gonna let me
Yeah.
talk. All right, then I'll wait.
I hate to deprive you, but you're on later.
All right.
Okay, department head.
Jason's not here yet, see you later.
So let's do DOT, Hampshire DOT, how's that?
Hampton Department of Transportation?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's you.
Yep, Mr. Stemple is here tonight, so we can go for it. I was going to make a motion to continue. So this is a concern regarding speeding on Dustin Tavern Road, and Mr. Stemple is here. Like I said, he'd like to also speak. He resides just south of Tavern Village near the intersection of Route 77 and Forest Road on Dustin Tavern Road. He moved into his residence at the end of 2025 and immediately began reporting speeding concerns to the Governor's Office, New Hampshire State Police, and me directly. The roadway in the area is currently posted at 35 miles an hour. Mr. Stemple's expressed concerns that vehicle speeds create a danger to his family and the surrounding neighborhood. We reviewed crash data for the area and found no correlation between vehicle speed and reported crashes, which I let Mr. Stemple know. In 2024, because of Mr. Stemple's concerns, the various state resources that were looking at this problem, one of those is Mr. Lambert, the State Highway Safety Administrator. He did a study in 2024 for that area. New Hampshire speed limits and speed studies are intended to balance roadway safety with the traffic flow and are typically based on engineering investigations that align posted speed limits with actual driver behavior using the 85th percentile methodology. What that means is they want 85th of the percentile, 85% of the cars traveling through a certain area should be within that range of speed. They are not traveling at 35 miles an hour. Mr. Lambert's study, particularly in the area right around Mr. Stemple's residence, indicates that the 50th percentile of speed is 41 miles an hour, 6 miles an hour greater than the posted 35 mile an hour zone, and the 85th percentile is actually 46 miles per hour. Meaning, what that means is the speed isn't advisable for what the actual vehicles are traveling through there. I spoke to Mr. Lambert, and he advised that the department generally defers to the governing body regarding recommendations for speed limit changes. Based on the crash data reviewed and the results of the speed study, it's my recommendation to the board that the New Hampshire Department of Transportation increased the speed limit in this area to 45 miles an hour, which is consistent. It's actually below the 85th percentile. The existing speed zone within Dustin Tavern Village, Dustin.
And I have no idea the answer. Who, and I have no idea the answer. Who is supposed to enforce that speed?
We could, or state police could. Either one could.
How many citations have been issued over the last year in that area?
We've been out there quite a few times based on Mr. Stemple's concerns. He's been very willing to help us. He actually lets us sit in his driveway, and we do sit there sometimes. And we'll, of course, we have two different types of radar we can do. We have the LiDAR, which is a laser, where we point and get the instant feedback, and we also run the moving radar and stationary radar on all our cars. I can't tell you off the top of my head how many tickets we have, but some have been issued. Speeds are definitely greater than the posted 35 miles an hour. Of course, now that we know it should be actually be a 45 mile an hour zone based on the actual study.
And there's no compelling reason there, no dangerous intersections or anything that would...
Right, there's only two intersections, but we've had no crash, we've had two crashes within a mile of there, and that's typical anywhere else. No crashes have been related to speed.
So you mentioned 30 in the...
30 is right at that sharp corner, but where Mr. Stemple is 35. My recommendation is only for that 35 mile an hour zone.
The 30 zone is up at Country 3. 35 starts at just above Ridgeview, 35 all the way down to just this side of Gould Road.
Yes.
The 30-mile-an-hour sign starts just the New Boston side of Short Street and then goes up to the stop sign.
It goes 45 down.
It's 45 from just the New Boston side of Short Street, all the way down to, like I said, just above the pier on Ridgeview.
Yep.
I travel it every day, so
So that area is where we would be recommending change. This is where the speed is.
that's a straight zone.
Right, but it's governed by a 35-mile-an-hour zone. This is the area, the governing area that we would want to change to 45.
So it would drop after Gould, it would drop just before the corner of Oak Hill to 35 again, or to be 45 from Allied all the way up to.
I can diagram it out if you'd like.
I would appreciate that.
That'd be helpful.
because I'm-
Yeah, we can diagram it out, what it would be before and
Can you
after.
draw it on the whiteboard?
No.
Can you try and draw it on the whiteboard?
No.
'cause
I'll get back to you on that one.
I tell you, Chief, I'm not a proponent of changing that myself.
Okay.
Because of Oak Hill the way the Oak Hill comes into 77, personally, I'm not a fan of changing that. I mean,
Yep.
But that's already 30 there.
it's a 35.
It's 35.
It's 35 through that corner.
Okay.
Yeah, so, like I said, I'm just not, I mean, and everybody does 45-ish. I mean, I'm guilty of doing 40-ish down through there. Yeah, I know, it's like a ticket. But again, the way that, if Oak Hill came in at a better angle and not on the corner, I'd feel a little better about it, but personally, I don't want to change it.
And that's,
Let me ask this question, let me make this point anyways. I mean, people are exceeding the speed limit somewhat reliably based on the study.
yes,
That's
yes.
all done. So if you dropped it to 30, are they going to obey it anymore?
We're not dropping it, we're raising it.
Raise it to 45.
He wants it 30, you want to go to 40.
Well, I don't know if he wants 30.
Oh, what?
To
Yes or no?
start, it's a residential area, correct?
Stop.
Sir, yeah. Wait, yeah,
Actually, doesn't last much.
Yes, I do want it to 30.
well, but we want you to come up to the podium so you can hear it.
Yeah, I would love to have it to 30. I'm Mark Stemple, I live at 221 Dustin Tavern Road.
Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you, Chief.
Sure.
To start, according to Bill Lambert and a couple of the state cops from the DOT, Troop G, who work the trucks, that is a residential area. Bottom line. So why would you want to increase it when, again, I'm new in town, I have no problem, working with everybody, but there's been no accountability on that road for speeding, from what I hear from the people that I've talked to for the last 7 months that I've been here. There's no accountability. First of all, I have a passing section in front of my driveway, dotted line. I go out to get my mail, somebody could be passing right there, right there. 4 grandchildren, 2 rescue dogs. I spent $15,000 on fence. My daughter that lives in Hollis refuses to let me bring her kids to Papa and Nana's house while that's out of control there. They pass like crazy on that road. And I mean, I had Larry Lunt, state trooper, sit in my driveway last week, and according to, like you guys asked the chief, was there any citation issues? 3 citations were issued in 25 minutes. Went right out. Larry Lunt walked right out into the street. He was a New York cop before he became a New Hampshire cop for the DOT. Walked right out. Man, you're going 51 miles an hour. This is a residential area.
What,
You want 30 miles an hour?
I would love
Just
it.
to be clear.
where is your house again, exactly?
221 Dustin. I'm the red, big barn. I'm the only house. After you pass Oak Hill, there's one white house. I'm the only house after that.
Oh, okay, all right, I know where you're at, right at the bridge.
Correct.
Okay, I know where you're at,
Is
okay.
there anything else you want to say?
No, I just want some accountability for that road, that's all.
Okay, so you said 30, I just want to make sure you made that point. Thank you.
And that, one more thing, thank you. The study Chief was talking about is correct, that was 24, but Bill Lambert's coming down June 5th to do the 25 study. Just so you know. Thank you. Thanks, Chief.
Okay, Chief.
So there's another study coming?
And I didn't know that. I would defer this until that study's completed.
I would say probably we
Let's do that.
kick it.
And then I'll have a diagram for you.
Maybe. Or prove you wrong. Thanks. Okay, we all set?
So you're
on that
gonna
one.
table it
Thank you.
till
We're gonna table it till
June
the,
8th? Will you have results?
I don't know how long it takes him to get, I'll just let you know when he gets the next study
Because the
complete.
results, you'd have June 8th or June 22nd.
yeah,
You can have
well,
results.
whenever the results come in, let us know, and we'll put it on the agenda.
Yep,
Patriotic celebration?
yep.
This is just a copy for everybody, only need one signed copy. This is the same language we use everywhere to designate that one area next to the park for handicap parking.
Sir.
And I can read it if we'd like, but this is just from the Patriotic Festival.
Sign.
It starts Thursday at 5 PM, and we start it before the festival, so we have time to contact anybody who might be parked there and let them know they'd have to move their cars by a certain time. And it goes on till 8 AM Sunday.
So where is this? Across from the library?
What do you mean across? It'd be on the south side of the library, across the street.
Is that across?
Across from the east road,
Yeah, across from the library.
yes. Well, it depends on which across you're going.
Across East Road.
So we just gotta sign this and it becomes active?
You gotta approve it, make a motion, vote to designate a handicap, and then everybody sign away, and then I'll put the signed copy on file with the clerk.
I'll move that we designate the parking area bordered by Center Park on the south side of East Road, Town of Ware, as temporary disability accessible parking in support of the patriotic celebration. The disability accessible parking designation shall be effective beginning on 5 PM Thursday, June 18th, and end at 0800 AM Sunday, June 21st, 2026.
Second.
Thank you. Discussion, being none, all in favor? Aye. 500.
Okay, I'm just gonna, don't sign that one, only because he used your slang name at the bottom.
Yeah, it's fine.
So I've got the real, everybody's name, so if you wanna sign that one, and.
I can just get that from you tomorrow.
And then you can hand it off to him.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Come right around the table?
Yep.
Does that work pretty good?
Works great. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Chief.
You're quite welcome.
Jason is here.
Sorry, I'll just take it from your budget. It's fine.
Good luck with that.
I'll get you some crayons, for you.
Time to try to get a RFP kind of clarified so we could get some more bids, hopefully. We got that done, so I'm looking to put that out this week, so you should see results in 2 weeks.
Is this already fabricated, or they have to fabricate this?
So it's,
Standard
we go
stock?
with a pit scale, it's concrete, and there's some metal underneath for all the measuring devices and stuff like that, so it'll have to be poured.
Yeah, I understand that, but is the actual scale itself off the shelf, or do they have to fabricate the steel to build the?
So they have the steel pieces, but the deck's concrete, the
I understand
foundation's
that.
concrete.
So we're not gonna wait for them to fabricate the steel?
No.
Okay, thank you. And,
Takes 2 concrete pours, right? You get, pour the walls as one, and then the deck is last after the scale's assembled.
Yeah, you'll have to do the walls, the floor, and then
I'll take a little time.
who's doing that?
whoever wins the bid.
Okay, so it's all done by the one stop?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you, Jason.
Okay, Parks and Rec discussion now. Recognize Matt Keebler and Kristen.
Thank you, gentlemen. Matthew Beeler, Commission Chair, Ware Park and Rec. As you know, we are discussing the budget proposals. I have some copies, some paperwork I made for y'all, so we have some references.
Thank you.
Numbers are all pretty much what I've seen before. I just wanted to print it out again with some extra math, so I had nothing better to do. So, last week, I believe it was, we received the latest proposal back from y'all that proposed more cuts to our budget, specifically to Chase Park wages, than we had already, that our proposal was already cutting.
We're affecting the days you're open.
Yes, which reduced wages significantly. So, as you can see, our original default budget was $79,491. The cuts that Park recommended that were non-payroll brought us almost $13,000 less. That brought our total with payroll to $66,516. Park's initial proposed payroll cuts was $12,900. That left us with an overall budget of $53,616, the vast majority of that being Chase Park wages. That was based on the schedule that Kristen, our Chase Park supervisor, came up with. She is the subject matter expert. She has been there well more than I can remember, and I'm sure there's probably others here that couldn't tell you the dime either. So when it comes to the scheduling and the needs of Chase Park, I default to her.
Just for clarity,
Sir?
I think we calculated, Beth, my discussions with her, 11.4 instead of 17.82. Is a mistake on our side for the amount of money?
So, according to the paperwork that I received last week, the latest proposal from Board of Select was 11.4.
11.4 is
That's what I was,
we thought it was, and you're saying it's 17.80, 17.830?
this is what would be left for my wages at the bottom. That's what would be left.
So what's the total budget that you have?
The wages with the original default budget
Total budget?
with Park's proposal, okay? Total budget be 42,132. That would be my, that would be, yeah, after our proposal, that's what's left.
That was just reducing your daily hours, not reducing days.
I believe that also was reduced rate. Do you cut off Monday, Tuesday?
See,
No?
this is what I'm saying. With this additional 11.4, the number is 42,216 for the total of your remaining budget, down from 79,491, down to 42,216. Do we have the wrong numbers, is what I'm asking. This is what I think we distributed last time.
Well,
Yep, I have the copy of that, I believe.
pretty close with a couple bucks.
Oh, yeah, it's probably close enough, yeah. So, is there a problem going with the additional cuts from the board? Because what we're effectively doing is, except for the holidays, the Mondays, we are looking to not open on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah.
So, is that a difficulty for hiring and retaining help?
Yes. So, like I said, the proposed cuts have already impacted the services for the town, right? We've all discussed that, okay? The Chase Park and the boat ramp, with this proposal, are at the risk of not being open and manned at this time, because there's such a severe reduction in available work hours, it makes the job financially less attractive. We haven't hired any employees yet. Everything is still up in the air. We can't hire employees until we know how many hours we're actually going to end up with. And,
Just so we're clear,
yes, sir.
you don't like our recommendation.
Correct.
You're pushing back, saying you wish to open all 4 days.
We wish to stick with the proposal that we made.
Just want to make sure.
Yep, and there's multiple reasons. There's zero opportunity for a full-time employee to exist, including your Chase Park supervisor, your assistant supervisors, returning employees who expected a full-time job and have been working a full-time job will now be told you may have a part-time job with 10 hours, 15 hours, maybe 20. or maybe we can't bring you back because there's not enough personnel, we don't have enough hours to spread it out. Not only this, but the biggest complaint we've been getting is the boat ramp access. With no employees on site and that gate closed, there's no boat ramp access. And the Chase Park supervisor and the employees have a responsibility to check boats and their registration for contaminants and making sure that there's a town resident putting it in so they get the right fee. But that stuff costs time and money. And with no employee on site, we can't have the boat ramp open.
We're not, just so we're clear, we're not opening the boat ramp unless we have people on site.
Correct.
So it wasn't another option to open up the boat ramp.
I would say that you're going to have a lot of people push back on that, but that's a separate issue.
So just make sure I get this right. You're saying you cannot feasibly operate the boat ramp with the 4 days missing out of the week?
We can't operate Chase Park that way.
That's
There's not enough.
Tell me why.
There's not enough man hours to get employees to come back, especially the ones that have the knowledge and experience. It's just not feasible. And even if those employees were to choose not to come back, and we hired all newbies, you have a bunch of people that do not understand or know how it operates. And again, you're talking about employees, you're going to be told it's a part-time job, you're looking at 10, 20 hours a week kind of thing. And this doesn't even include the complaints we've been receiving from the residents about all of this. This is just, like you're asking for, the financial feasibility of Chase Park being open under the latest proposal does not work.
Now, can you remind me, the proposal you guys had was still open 7 days a week but reduced hours?
Correct.
Okay.
I want to say we took at least 2 to 3 hours off of each day roughly.
No, 10 to 4 was for those weekends preceding the release of school. And so once we were open, if I may run across what I proposed for the 7 days, it would be Sunday from 9 to 7, which is a reduction of 1 hour. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, it was a reduction of 1 hour in the morning and 1 hour to close early.
What's that?
So that would be 10 to 7. And then Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, staying open from 9 to 8, which is the previous years, the hours that we've been there. Because looking over the past year's activity, those are our busiest 3 days.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Oh, I made a mistake. I asked for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But if the difference is we keep with Thursday on the 10 to 7 schedule so that we can be there 7 days, I'll find a way to make that work.
So move Thursday into 10 to 7.
Yes.
Cuts another, 2 hours off every week?
And then I went with the skeleton crew, so 2 folks in the morning, 2 folks at night, as opposed to where we would have 2 in the morning and 3 at night, because raking the beach as one individual alone is a pretty big task.
We also have to consider security risks. We never want to have a single employee down at the park by themselves, 2 deep at all times, minimum.
Agreed. So just to reiterate why we're here tonight. We are doing the same thing to every department. We're not picking on you.
Understood.
We are picking on you, but you're equal to everybody else. And like I said before, police is down 1 officer. We're not hiring probably for the balance of the year because we don't see, unless something really happens good in the 4th quarter. We got 2 DPW drivers full-time. We're not hiring back. Jason's going to jump in when he's able, our DPW director, and the gentleman, TJ, who went to work for the transfer station, is going to do it when he's not at the transfer station, which means probably it's going to be closed anyway. So top of that, we've asked the police to double up. If they're patrolling 2 officers on patrol, take 1 car, so we don't wear out our aging fleet quickly. And then we also, did a haircut across everybody initially at the beginning of the day after the vote for the budget. So right now, for whatever the balance of the year is for a $9 million budget, we got $10,000 to the good. That's 0.1% without some disaster happening. And if it does happen, we're going to have to take a onerous act to fix something. And we're just trying to figure out where we can find money this year. And make it so the budget's more manageable.
We understand that.
Yeah, so I
But
just
it-
want to make a point for
Yep.
everybody else.
But at this time, with the way the numbers have come out, if we were to accept the Board of Select's proposal, we would have lost 57% of our total budget. And Chase Park would be restricted to being open only 3 days a week, except for the 4-day holidays we talked about. And again, you're putting potential employees in a situation where it's just not going to be financially feasible probably for them to work, which ends up, if we cannot make this agreement somewhere in the middle.
Got it. Okay, well, do you have anything else you want to talk about, or the board have any questions?
I wanted to answer a question that we've been seeing online, and I'm sure some other people in here probably brought it up, is the revolving fund account. So I asked Naomi to pull up where that revolving fund came from. There's been a lot of talk about, oh, we can use, right, Chase Park revenue pays for everything, right? Unfortunately, Chase Park revenue does not pay for everything. So I'm going to read the warrant article first, and then answer any questions. Purpose of the warrant article, so this was a town warrant article, we voted on it, for the fund was established in 2023, and it passed by a vote of 534 to 236 in the yes. The warrant article reads as follows: shall the town vote to establish a Parks and Rec facility revolving fund pursuant to RSA 35-B 2, Roman 2, for the purpose of maintaining, improving, and/or adding to the equipment, buildings, and grounds overseen by Park. All revenues received by Park and Rec facilities and serves to include fees, charges, or other income derived from the activities or services supported by the Park and Rec Commission will be deposited into this fund. And the money in the fund shall be allowed to accumulate from year to year and shall not be considered part of the town's general fund balance or as a surplus. Town treasurer has custody of all the monies, and Park and Rec has to approach the Board of Select to withdraw any money from that fund. So, when we created this fund, it specifically said we cannot use this for daily operations, we cannot use it for supplies. So for anybody with that
How much do you have in
question,
your budget now for things this could cover?
I'm going to say roughly 60. We just requested a withdrawal for loan for the, sand for the ball fields, and then the sprinkler system.
I guess my question was, does your operating budget now have a budget for repairs?
No,
So you don't?
not really. No, I mean, I think we allotted 500 left.
You guys cut that out.
We cut it all
Got
out.
it?
Yeah.
Just want to make sure. So
Yep.
there's no money other than $500 floating around. Very good.
How many hours do your employees typically work a week?
Kristen?
So in the previous years, I average just under 40 because I'm not allowed to go into overtime. The majority of our supervisors average between 25 and 35. And then typical staff, depending on, this is the time where we had 3 staff on, so they would average about 20, with new people averaging about 10 to 12.
Because right now, with the hours that we talked about, you'd be open 68 hours a week, if my math is right. Does that sound about right?
Yes.
That's when it's open after the school, after, when it's open full-time.
With the hours, yeah.
Any other questions from the board?
Just, I have a question. So,
Go ahead.
you said after school, so Memorial Day is this weekend, so Memorial Day would be a long weekend, which will open. But then is it just weekends until school? Okay, all right, because I missed
And
that.
those are short weekend days too, if I'm not mistaken.
Because that's like June 20th or
Yeah,
something.
10 to 4.
Yeah, they're very short weekend days. I mean,
Naomi, are we all set on the hiring of people for this weekend?
Well, that's part of the problem we have,
That was my question.
is
Who do
we,
you have for employees?
I have enough returners that if given the green light and I'm able to work with Beth to get packets out tomorrow, it'd probably be me picking them up to hand deliver. We could get them to turn them back around as long as Beth can get them into the system for the weekend.
well, I mean, if, this is the discussion that we had, so they're seasonal, so we didn't lay them off or fire them. So if you have returners, they're still in the system.
Just trying to back
What we talked about today was, are those kids of an age that we need the school to sign off, but I think they're older, right?
I have two 17-year-olds, an 18-year-old, a 19-year-old, a 20-year-old, and 52.
Who are you pointing at?
So as long as, I think Beth heard our conversation, and as long as you have enough for this weekend and we can get packets, because this week would turn into next week's payroll. So we would need that back, but then, I don't know what you're gonna do. Your new ones would still have to go through the interview process as well as be hired.
So
So
to
I'm
be
not sure.
honest, until we even figure out the hours, I don't want to, we've received at least 10 brand new applications, but I don't even think we're in a place to look at them or consider them until we really know what the hours are going to be, because it seems like a lot of false hope and a waste of time to train someone only to have them work 6 hours all summer.
I think
So-
we'll get back to you in time for
Yeah,
that.
so what needs to, they've got enough staff, and if she knows who they are, and just let Beth know, you'll pick packets
Are we
up.
okay with this legally? I'm okay.
We were fine with it. Like I
can we
said,
meet
they were
all our
seasonal,
regulations?
so you didn't let them go, you didn't fire them, you didn't lay them off.
Okay.
So they're just a seasonal employee that we have on the book.
So we talked about also, you said it was gonna be, you know, we were gonna reassess at least Tuesdays and Wednesdays. How about, I mean, I know that Jack, you know, wanted to go to 3 days only. What if we were to do Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday closed and open 4 days at those hours you spoke of? That would be somewhere, to me, that'd be somewhere in between.
To me, somewhere in between is choose 2 to close and not 4.
Close Tuesday and Wednesday or something?
And be
If we're
open
going
on,
to do that, we need to let the library know right away, because Wednesday is story time.
at the lake.
Yeah.
Oh,
Alright.
It's just a tradition that they've
All right,
had.
well, I'm not saying that
adjust
we
it.
have to do it like this
Yep.
week. I mean, it just, and honestly, it would be when after that, was it June 20th or whatever?
June 20th.
That would be the when that would go into effect. Obviously, you guys kind of have plans already loose. Keep them in place, but then, like, I don't know where the 4th of July falls or whatever like that, but if there was a holiday in those 3 days,
Mm-hmm.
be open, you know what I mean?
that was our intent, was
Okay.
for the holiday
All right,
weekends,
all right.
yeah.
I mean, if there was something in between there,
Mm.
be open, but, I don't know if that's
I think it's a
something
matter where we'd have to run the numbers.
Okay.
You know, what is 5 days a week look at versus 4 days a week, whatever, like,
Yeah.
you know, and again, it's always gonna come back to what's gonna be feasible for the town,
Right.
right?
Because I
But
think-
what's gonna be feasible for employees.
Because I think maybe the 4 days might be more pliable, even with a reduced employee count, to be able to get set hours close to.
I mean, let's look at it this way, you're at 68 hours now.
Yeah.
Let's say you come back with 50 hours. And it's up to you how you make that work. We'll just tell you that's how many hours you have a week. You guys make the schedule.
That's potentially 3 shifts per week, or an employee or 2 per week that you cut out. If you split it up into 6-hour shifts, right, you lose 18 hours a week. That's potentially an employee not coming back and filling that position. Do you say we take a bunch of newbies to fill that position, but we're working less hours? So, you know, you start compacting to a point where it's a employees versus how many hours are available thing. You know, there is a convergence point at some point, and I think we were much closer with being open more days than being open less.
I think, yeah. I think, I feel that the board is at the point of, we can't be open 7 days a week. I think that's where we're at. As much as we wanted to, I don't think that's pliable now. We've seen that we're 10,000 to the good for the rest of the year, not knowing what's coming, you know. So I don't think the 7 days is feasible, as much as we hoped it would be.
When's our next meeting?
Your next meeting is June 8th.
June 8th. If we decide something June 8th, would that give you time enough to hire people for?
Well, she could hire for this weekend. She's gonna have to hire.
Yeah,
You're gonna hire somebody after June
Right.
12th. Right?
No, she's gotta hire somebody for this weekend, for Memorial Day weekend.
Well, I thought we already decided we're gonna bring everybody back. It's not an issue.
Oh, the new hires, I'm sorry.
The new hires, we were gonna table.
That's what I'm saying, the new hires. Can you hire the new hires? Why don't you drop the date to hire your new hires, but to be here, ready to go on June 12th.
20th.
20th.
I missed the
There's
date.
just been so many numbers, I apologize. It's really late in the day. So I can wait until this June 8th date that you're saying
21st,
to even start to offer interviews. That's no problem at all. I just need to know about these weekends in between. And so if you're saying that we can be there from the 10 to 4 for the first few weekends, I'll work with you and be here on June the 8th with a list of candidates
Okay.
ready to start calling as soon as you give me the green light on those. Those are new hires only.
So your summer hours is June 22nd. So you need to have things laying flat on June 22nd for your hires, right?
Technically, June 20th. I need to have people ready to go.
That's a
'Cause-
Saturday.
Oh, I got a different piece of paper.
Yeah, June 20th.
June
How many
20th.
people do you have now, like the rehire, the people coming back?
8.
And how many hours do each of them work a week?
So it varies. I try to keep them around 30,
Okay,
but I
is
realize,
that what they want?
well, yeah, so some of them want more, but there are 2 on this list that are younger and they won't work the 30. They would together maybe work 30. So 7 at 30, which is 210 hours a week, which is more than we're being allotted?
Well, so if you have. But you have, how many people out there at a time?
2.
2 in the morning and 2 in the afternoon tonight.
But how many per shift?
2.
2, and then two shifts a day?
Yes, sir.
So 4 people a day.
Yes.
So you get 2 people every hour it's open though, so we got right now it's 68 hours, 120 and 136 hours you got per week. But if you could come closer to 100 hours per week, that would, however you want to do it.
Let's do this. Why don't you,
That's 50 hours open.
50 hours open times 2 employees.
But then you've got employees working 20 hours and not 30, and they're not gonna want to do that. You wouldn't be able to hire as many new hires.
No, we're talking existing personnel, sir.
Yeah, well,
If I came into your work tomorrow and said, hey, guess what? You've been working a full-time job or a 30-hour-a-week job, and this was your pay,
How many
and
existing personnel do you have right now?
8.
They have the 8.
8 that have all
How many
been
new ones you gonna
working
have?
30-plus hours,
and how
except
many
for
new
the,
ones you gonna have?
I don't know that we'll, to be honest, need new ones
Well, that's
because
what I was
with
trying
what
to
we're,
get to, because there's
right,
too
with
many
what,
people.
with what we're
Right,
talking
exactly.
about for hours.
I'm just saying, there's too many people on the calculation, that's why I was pushing.
Mm-hmm.
Why do we need new people? Because we just talked a minute ago about getting new people.
Well, she's saying if the people that they already have are only getting 20 hours or 18 hours, and they quit because they're not getting any hours, they have to hire new people who would be willing to work 18 or 20 hours.
And because this is their
It's gonna be very
summer.
hard to find.
Right, this is their summer and families have vacations, so while it's nice to say that they want 30 hours consistently a week,
They won't.
they're also 16 to 20 years old and they take time off here and there. I'm the one full-time 5 to 6 days a week employee. What you've done is take my 8 years, and I know it's not personal and I understand that because I'm a taxpayer and a town member, but you've made it so that depending on what happens in June, you may be looking to replace me as well.
Look, okay, that's my next question. How is this impacting you as a director? So you just told us.
Yes.
So you spread your labor between Chase Park and all the other ball fields and stuff? Is that kind of what happens, or you just strictly Chase Park?
In the summer, I wear 2 hats. Yes.
So.
That's not new, that's how it's been ongoing, right?
No, I
she's
usually
got the
work,
full 40.
I work right up to 39.5 each and every week.
I believe she's saying this is what, under the proposed?
Under the proposed.
Yeah. So she'd be, what, 18 hours short, 8 hours short on the proposed?
Significant.
Yeah.
Are you cutting your hours so that
Yes.
one of your other employees can still get a few more?
I am, because I am the highest paid employee, and so to watch the budget, I've got to be mindful of that too. I'm the highest paid employee because I've been there for
yeah, I mean, I get that.
eight summers.
Unfortunately, we don't have a Excel spreadsheet operating.
Yes.
So. I'm gonna have to sit down with Beth and run a few numbers.
Yes.
And so, if you took the, how many hours open we talking?
68.
What do you wanna go to?
50.
If you took 50, and work your schedule, what you can support for the weeks, days of the week, okay? I'll go up, talk to Beth, and see how much impact to bring you whole as being the person running the show. You know what I'm saying?
You're gonna actually add hours.
I was gonna say, there's literally no way to make it happen.
She's gonna
Because
add
then I
hours
would
to
be
her
time-
schedule
I would
because
be in
there's gonna be
overtime.
people that quit because they're only getting 18.
Well, not only that, if we only have 50 hours a week.
We might, you're assuming I'm not gonna change the number.
No, I'm just saying, if we are saying there's only gonna be 50 hours allotted for the week, and she's gotta meet her full time alone, and say she goes to 39 just to
Why do you say
guarantee.
Because you're assuming we're not gonna bump the number up in terms of dollars?
No, I'm basing off of what we just spoke about. We're doing 68 hours, the number reduced to 50 was thrown out. You can't
So we're
support,
talking about two different numbers, and we're not talking about the number that's important, which is personnel hours. We're only
Overall
talking about
personnel
however
hours.
many hours the park is open, which is not the important number. It's the personnel hours that's important. If the personnel hours is, do you know how many hours a week your personnel work?
well,
Roughly 30.
So-
If it was six, no, I'm not
So
talking.
roughly in the summer, with the schedule the way it was, we would average about 212 hours.
So 212 hours.
Yes.
That's how many hours open a week? How many hours open?
That's 11 hours a day, so 77.
77.
That's what we
So
did
you were already
last year.
proposed to go down to 68. How many personnel hours is that?
Because it's one extra person for one shift plus 8 times 7, 56, and I don't even know, the math is out of my
I
brain
know the
right now.
numbers, I know
Yeah.
it's late in the day. and I
we're
get
throwing a
that,
lot of numbers
but
around.
The important number here is the personnel hours, not the number of hours the park is open. It's irrelevant how many hours the park is open if you don't have people to work the booth.
Exactly, and vice versa. If you don't have hours
So
to work,
have
you
to
can't
talk
have
about the
employees.
personnel hours, Jack. It doesn't matter if it's 50 hours, 68 hours,
I'm just saying,
190 hours.
I'm just saying, I'm trying to differentiate between a person who's there working by the hour and the leadership that's there.
Right?
I'm just trying to say, I'm trying to break that. And I'm saying, maybe it makes sense to have her there more hours while they're open versus cutting her hours back significantly. That's all I'm saying.
I know,
I'm just saying, I'm gonna go take a look at it.
but if
So,
you can get 8 people of roughly the same amount of hours they're getting now by only being open 50 hours a week, I think that's what you're going for. But personally, I don't see how that's gonna work.
I don't-
Your math doesn't math because your personnel hours aren't enough for those people that are coming back expecting to work 30 hours.
The spread just, it can only get, it
They're only
spreads too
gonna get
thin.
18 or
It's-
20.
If all
They're not
eight,
gonna do it.
if all eight said
I wouldn't
they want
do
to come
it.
back?
Yes.
But they've committed to coming back at what they expect their hours to be, right? Not a
They're
drastic
committed to
cut.
coming back for this weekend so that we can be
Right, I know they're gonna
open.
work this weekend, but
Yeah.
they're,
this weekend.
But they're anticipating coming back for the entire season.
But if they're not gonna get their
Yes.
regular hours, they're gonna kick and they're gonna go get another job that gives
Right.
them.
Right.
And then I'm going to be up there in a desperate situation.
We do not want that,
Right.
because then the whole thing falls apart.
It's gonna fall apart.
We cannot
So
have
what do you want to do to give her an action to go off and do?
I wanted to figure out personnel hours
Okay?
that work for the employees. I think by closing a couple days a week, it might save some money. That's what you should be asking Beth about. If the personnel hours make sense. If, for example, the park's open 7 days a week, but it's only open for 8 hours a day. That's 56 hours a week, right? That's not the 68 that you're using your numbers for. So with your personnel hours, you'd have 2 people on, but you're never gonna get those people to the right number of hours. If you're open 5 days a week, 10 hours a day, that's only 50 hours. So you're even less. You've gotta make it so that the number of people working have the number of hours that they need to make it make sense to work. So those are the numbers you gotta ask Beth about. You can't just ask about how many hours is the park gonna be open, because that, it just doesn't matter.
You said you have 8 coming back, and that includes you?
With what their understanding is of what they've had in the past.
Did-
Informally, obviously, we haven't
Do
been
you
able to sit
understand what I'm
anybody down.
saying?
I do.
Okay, because I'm not trying to confuse anybody, I'm not trying to play with numbers, I'm just
No.
saying, if you have 4 employees that work 40 hours a week, that's 160 personnel hours, but you're only open for 80 hours.
Right. So there's
Because
no
they-
way for them
there's
to
2
get
per
it.
shift.
Yeah. Yep,
So, that's just simple math.
yep,
Yes.
that's what we're saying. And that's why we said that this, our proposal was as close to bare bones as we can get while meeting all of the defined hours that we've had in the
And setting the
past.
correct expectations in the employees that these are the hours you're gonna get, we're not gonna cut you again.
But the difficult thing is that weather-related, we will cut them again.
They
Yeah,
close
if
in
it's
the-
pouring rain or
I
whatever.
mean,
it
yeah,
gets
I mean,
closed.
that's,
But that's a
that's not
variable,
part of
that's a
what I'm
variable.
talking
Yeah,
about.
those are
Understood.
variables, yeah.
That happens every summer, you have to close for a day because
Yes.
it's pouring rain. I get that. That's different, I'm not talking about it.
So restate what you want them to do.
So, I
Just so
want you
I'm
to
clear,
do it.
what do you want them to do when they leave? Nothing, or do something? That's, I'm just trying to make sure. what
You're talking about going to talk to Beth about the
I'm
numbers.
just saying, forget what I said, what do you
Okay.
want them to do right now?
What I want them to do
I
is
just don't
figure
know.
out how many hours they can be open with the employees that they have, keeping as close to the same number of hours that the employees are working,
Okay.
for the number of days that you can to keep the park open. Does that make sense?
So if they were working 35, would they be happy at 30 or 28, or something like that?
I
Understood.
want you to talk to your employees and see what the expectation is, and set the expectation with them and say, hey, look, we're in a budget crunch, there's gonna be some cuts. Maybe instead of 35, you only get 30, or 32, or,
And
and if they're okay with it, and they still wanna work, great. If they don't, then we, maybe we have to cut one of the positions and cut the hours again.
that's what I was gonna say, if any of them have an inkling of going elsewhere, because obviously, if 35 was their number, and you say 28, and you're like, well, I got an offer to go, okay, then that
Because I
drops down
don't,
to,
I don't want the park open with one person.
Of
That
course.
clearly
No,
is
I think that's-
dangerous
that can't
and
be
not.
done.
No, it wouldn't happen.
Especially with a young person and you get somebody
We
that's
can't
Yes.
have that.
been drinking on a
Exactly.
boat all day and angry and, I get it. We don't want that. We want 2 people at all times that you're open.
Okay.
Okay, so, you need any more information from us?
Well, I would like for officially stated that we can open this weekend with the proposed budget that we, just for the weekend.
Yes.
Okay.
This weekend, yes,
What about the following weekend?
Yes.
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 Okay.
Until June 20th.
Okay, cool.
Until
Then
June
we will
20th.
continue to work on trying to get this down
Yep,
as
Yes.
best as possible.
thank you.
Okay.
So, somebody tell me so I can post it somewhere clearly, exactly what you're gonna be open for the weekend. You have a long weekend, so you're gonna
This
be
particular
open
weekend.
Saturday, Sunday, Monday, what are your hours?
10 to 4.
Okay, and then after that, it's just Saturday, Sunday from 10 to 4 until the June 20th.
Correct.
So, we're gonna have to change the sign?
Oh, yeah, we gotta talk about that.
Okay.
Well, there's the sign with the hours, I think you just
It's,
buy a
we
new
slide.
number or something, we can just put something on.
Jack's talking about the gate. sign.
No, I'm talking about the sign for the hours.
The hours,
So
right.
somebody, to be named later, will have to buy a little sticky for a
For
number
time.
that matches what we want and
Because it
put
has
it
2
on the
times
day.
on it.
Right,
Yeah.
okay. Is there anything else we need right this minute? I have a point.
New
I don't,
sign.
I don't
New
believe
sign.
this time. Okay?
As much as we love to have you go after hours,
We know that's not feasible.
we're not gonna have you go after hours. Because somebody locked it, somebody didn't come in on their boat in time, 20 other reasons why they didn't show up at closing. It's inappropriate to have you, what you've done, I'm saying is, we thank you for doing it, but we should not have people going after hours down there, okay? So we're proposing the following. I'm sure it's gonna be changed, but vehicles, trailers left in the Chase Park after gate is closed needs to call the police non-emergency number. I got 2 down here, so it's whatever it is, we'll put it on there. So this will be the way people go down and get released from the park after hours.
It's via the PD.
It's gonna go with the
Okay.
police, not your
Yeah,
sticky
it's
note
via
on
the
it.
PD.
Yeah. We had discussed that and we're
Good.
shooting down that range. The one thing we do want to ask about, payroll's done, budget's done, we're moving on. In the past, it has seemed, and I don't have numbers or reports or any of that, that Chase Park and the other fields have been slightly lower priority for non-emergency, non-911 issues than we feel they should be.
Wait a minute, as
We're
far
talking
as-
about incidents where if we have a,
Just so I get it straight.
yes, sir.
You're saying you ring 911, and you say Chase Park, nobody shows up until everything else.
I
is
just
done?
said non-911 calls.
Well, that's just like this here.
Exactly, that's what he's asking.
Yeah, well, that's.
Oh, let
what
me
it
pause.
is.
Okay, non-life threatening imminent, what I'm saying is, if we have an individual who is down there, is harassing our employees or
Stop.
anything else,
Call the police.
Okay.
911.
we're not getting, we believe, the response that we should, and we'd also like to push for enforcing the other laws that are on the books.
Just, I want to make sure you just said what I heard what you said. You're saying somebody's harassing your personnel.
Mhm.
You call up 911 and say this is an emergency, you need a patrol to respond. You're saying that you don't show up because somebody's harassing your employees? If you make it an emergency, it's going to be like somebody got hurt on the side of the road.
You're not calling dispatch, you're calling 911?
Call dispatch.
You're calling dispatch. Okay, yeah.
You got an emergency, call
Yes,
dispatch.
yes, that's,
Okay. And then let us know if they're not showing up.
of
I'm
course.
sure they will.
Yes,
I
of
think-
course.
I think he's letting us know right now.
Right. So,
What I'm saying is, non-life threatening situations where we need to get the police out there.
Yep.
if somebody's harassing your people, you got to decide whether that's life-threatening or not. And it's your judgment. Make the call. We're not going to tell you.
If you
don't
gotta
do
step
it.
to the next level, which is 3 numbers rather than, 7,
Okay,
go for it.
all right, and that's the route we'll go with.
You guys agree with us?
Yeah. Yeah, if it's more than 7, if it's,
So I've been an emergency dispatcher for 30 years, and my feeling is if somebody's feeling unsafe and they're gonna make a phone call, they should be calling 911.
right, that's all right.
All right,
So if they're not comfortable and they're having a problem, just call 911.
okay, all right,
Yeah.
You're gonna get to Goffstown dispatch.
yeah,
Yeah,
Anyway,
yes,
right.
but it's quicker, they don't have to try to remember what number to call, they don't have to press the
Mhm.
menu
It's all in the system.
They don't have to
Alright.
listen to, if you need this, if you need that, no, just 911. Go
okay,
get somebody.
all right, we'll change,
Don't mess around.
Yeah, change the
yep,
policy.
we'll change policy, make sure people call 911,
If you're
okay.
threatened, that's it.
Anything
If
else?
it's nothing, it's nothing, but if it's something,
Yeah.
you need to address it quickly, not fool around with
Yeah.
it, okay?
Another subject, can we have a copy of the documents that were pulled about the ownership and deeds for Chase Park and any other
You know,
associated?
I'm going to state right here that our attorney has reviewed all the deeds that we have on Chase Park, and he's determined through his review, not where the land is located, but the title to the land, that in 1944, we paid $1, we paid $1 for the rights of the park for perpetuity. We own the park in Town of Ware. Prior to that, people running around saying its lease was correct up to 1944 because we had a lease for $1 a year. So we ran that to ground, and the Town of Ware does own that.
Well, I don't think there's anything saying he can't have.
As the chair of park, I'm just asking for copies of those for our own records,
All
all of the associated paperwork.
Yeah, sure, go Steve Bell.
Okay, I'm just asking, you guys did the process, and I'm just asking as the chair, can we have
I'll
those
give it to you if I
documentations?
have it, I personally don't have it.
Okay.
Go see Bell.
Yeah.
Okay, I just
Can get for you. Yeah.
want to make sure we're clear on it, that's all.
Sent it to town council, so we could just hit the print button.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm sure we
The
just forward
files
that to
this
you.
week,
Yep.
so.
That'd probably be a lot quicker.
Yep, absolutely.
Is there anything else?
No, okay. I think we're all set.
Matt.
Well, thank you for coming in.
Thank you,
Bill.
gentlemen.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Matt. Thank you,
Appreciate it.
Kristen.
Thank you for your hard work.
Thank you for your patience.
Yep. Chairman, before we get off budget discussion, we're talking about budget. It was brought up at the previous meeting, there was a couple members that weren't here, but obviously we're making these departments make their cuts. I think we should cut our salaries as well.
Absolutely.
Again, I think it's the right thing to do, we're making them cut, so I think we should cut ours.
Move.
I move that we cut the selectman's salary to $1.
I'll second amend that to zero.
No, we got
$1 to hold the place for next year.
You have to leave a, you've already expended a dollar anyway.
Oh, we've already spent
Zero
$1.
for, well, you guys got paid once, right?
So zero it out from here on?
For the
Is that-
balance of the year, the line would stay open.
So just zero for the.
You're gonna zero for the balance of the year,
So
right?
what's the motion?
Yeah,
I withdraw my amendment.
Repeat the motion.
Repeat your motion.
we'll go for the dollar or zero?
The dollar. Keep the line open.
Okay, so we can zero it, we
For
can,
the rest of the year.
all right.
Yes.
I move that we zero the selectmen's payout for the rest of the 2026 year.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Move in second.
Thank you. Discussion. Being none, those in favor?
Aye.
500, thank you. Okay. Mr. Frank, come on down. We put you on the agenda so that we didn't
Yeah,
have
well,
to skirt around the
I
public input.
requested this week, because the last couple of meetings have had a light agenda, so I kind of apologize for, for
Filling
being...
up this agenda?
Yeah, right.
That's okay.
Well, I have it scripted, hopefully I can follow my script, I don't know. I need some information on the town administrator's contract.
We told you to go up and see Beth. She didn't.
Pardon me?
We told you last week to go up and see Beth.
I did, I said, but I need information, explanations
Oh, he
type
needs an
information.
explanation.
Right.
Okay, go ahead.
And I will preface what I'm going to say as I did last week. My comments or questions are not about qualifications or character. Related to the employment agreement, very few taxpayers who are aware, I have a copy of this in front of me. So I'll do the terms of agreement, number one. Looks like it's a 6-year contract.
61 months.
Pardon me?
61 months.
Okay, well,
State 61 months.
okay. And the employee can negotiate, it's indicated, she can negotiate an extension at the end of the contract. She can negotiate an extension. I don't have a copy of the previous one. I threw it out when she retired, but I believe that that was also in that.
It was a similar clause in the old one.
Okay. So,
It doesn't mean we give it to her by default.
no, I understand that. I understand, but the possibility, she can renegotiate. So the previous contract left that opportunity. Did the selectmen, again, looking back at the previous contract, did the selectmen or the town administrator take the opportunity to enact that possibility of a renegotiation of the last contract?
No, because she terminated.
Right.
She retired. She was a free agent at that point, and it took her 28 days to break, so we could ask her to come back on January 1st.
Okay,
That's what we get.
okay. So I guess with that, the next is the salary portion.
Yep.
The $131,000, a little bit more. I'll use round numbers, I guess, be easier. So what I did is I calculated, it also indicates payable in accordance with town's regular payroll practices. I don't know what those practices are. I'm going to interpret that she is now eligible if the town employees, non-union people, get a 2, 3, 4%.
It says right in the contract, yes.
Right. Right. It says consideration on the annual basis. I'm kind of paraphrasing the two sentences. General cost of living increases given to other town employees. So she's going to, the last contract did not do that.
Correct.
So this one does. So what I did is I started at the 131,000 and I did use the 750, and I used a 3% per year over the life of the contract.
Wow.
So,
Assuming it's gonna be 3%.
right, I understand that,
Yep.
okay?
I just wanted to-
So that's whatever it's going to be. So I used the 3%, and that seemed to work out over the life of the contract. Every year, that 3% amounted to about $4,000 increase on the previous year. All right. So she will receive slightly over $4,000 a year. My comment is that any town employee that receives raises in the thousands, we probably only have a couple of them that applies to, can, and I stress the word can, have a skewed view of tax impact proposals. What it boils down to, the people that can afford it, in a sense, they don't care what their taxes are going to be when they're presented with proposals. All right, me, I'm far from a millionaire. The millionaire lives a different lifestyle than I do. So, I'm not saying that's my concern, all right?
Negotiated
Yeah.
number.
I get it. So, we'll move on to the retirement portion. The employee's original, and I'll read from the contract, the employee's original hire date of February 1995, I don't need the day, shall be recognized and maintained. The employee shall be credited with continuous service from that date through the date of her retirement.
That was letter of the law.
What's that? I think it says in ours,
Yeah,
this one say
that
that?
was what we had to put in there per the law.
Okay,
Basically,
yeah, I'd like a little explanation.
right, but basically, I think if I put words in her mouth, she kind of wanted to keep her pension and just get paid, but because she didn't leave the town of Ware, work with some other place for 30 seconds as a TA and come back to Ware, we could have granted her that waiver.
Right.
But because she didn't have another service between the two service dates, this is the only option she could have.
Yeah, that we are legally bound to.
Okay, the way I interpreted that, and I understand what you're saying, so she retired,
She gave up her retirement.
right.
Signed back up again.
So, and she signed the act up again. So now she's credited with that as not being a new employee again. She's not,
I mean,
So she
it
didn't-
maintains her
she's not-
vesting status
she-
with the state, and she didn't have to go back through it again, which for the state retirement is 10 years
Okay.
to be vested.
Okay.
So she remains vested, and that was legally required to do, so that she gave up, she retired, but then she rescinded that.
Okay.
And in order to do that, the only way for that to happen was if we maintained her years for service, because then she would have to start again at 0 and work another 10 years before she was vested, and then only have 10 years in the retirement system.
okay,
So that's,
Yeah,
Okay.
and that's the same for anybody of tenure in the retirement system. It's not just specifically to her.
okay,
the alternative to that was, she could only work a certain number of hours and would have been required to be retired.
okay.
Like
So,
our-
So-
and that wasn't gonna be an option for us, when you weren't.
Right.
So in a sense, in my words, again, I'm not being critical, but, so she really, in that scenario, for anybody, they kind of win the lottery, right?
How?
Because they don't lose their vested time.
Well, she's already paid into the system, so she
Okay.
had that in the bank.
Okay,
She basically says, I'm gonna give up my pension, which is allowed. She still retains all that in the bank. She adds to it. So that's essentially what she's doing.
Yeah.
okay, okay.
Clause,
Pardon me?
going back to that original start date for that purpose, that's the only purpose that start date is good for. It has nothing to do with
Vacation. sick
vacation time, health, medical leave, anything like that. That all is addressed separately in there.
Okay, okay. And I have budgets here, but the employee has received this is in regards, I tied it to the retirement, the 1995, but probably shouldn't have done that. But she has received a $1,250 a year. She's reached that level. Longevity pay,
She won't be getting that anymore.
but,
Not getting it.
okay, well, being a taxpayer funded, I thought maybe being a taxpayer funded benefit maybe didn't apply to that 90, different to somebody else in the public if they're interested. But there's a sentence for both sick leave and vacation. The employee shall not be paid for any unused sick leave upon separation from employment, regardless of the reasons. It's consistent, again, with sick leave and vacation leave. So my question is, when Naomi retired, I'm going to do this as a public comment next week, she received, because it's not in any budget printout that I have. When she retired, she had accruals of $73,000. Yeah, well, and the only reason, like I say, it's not, unlike the town, when the town clerk retired, it was in numerous budget printouts of bonus and accruals, and it gave it.
Where it is?
Pardon me?
You wanna know where it is?
No, I'll call Beth and ask her, because I have the latest, and the last one that I have was, you're familiar with the spiral book here. Pardon
It's
me?
in that one.
It is in that one.
Yep.
Well, okay. Town administrator, well, I haven't found it anywhere. Actually, I take that back. For as much as I've looked at it, right, she has it at 72,669, okay.
Next question, Frank.
Next question. So with this contract and what I read, shall not be paid for unused sick leave upon separation, not paid unused vacation. Does that eliminate the possibility of accruals?
That's exactly what you think it means. She's not
Okay.
getting another payout.
She's not getting another payout.
Okay, well, because it seems like it's paid through, you know,
It's this way, Frank. She gets 4 weeks a year. She can sell up to 1 year, 1 week back, if she wishes to.
right, right.
Or she can take them all. It's the only option.
But she can't take them with her.
Right, use it or lose it.
Exactly.
Okay, well, and that's what I was
We
going
already
to
paid
do.
her for the maximum hours a town employee can accrue. We didn't want to pay it again.
Okay,
By negotiation.
pardon me?
By
By
negotiation.
negotiation,
We didn't want to do that again.
okay. Well, I thought sometime in the past, before any of you were on the board, I thought there was, because we had one employee that way back,
That's nothing to do with her.
right, but I thought the town had changed, the board had changed.
This is a
Something.
contract we agreed, not the town's
We
policy.
did. We did, Frank. We did change that policy. She was
Okay.
one of the last remaining ones
Okay.
under that existing policy.
Okay. All right, so thanks for the time.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah.
Thanks, Frank. Okay, where are we now?
Solid waste.
Always.
Where do you want to start?
Well, I was going to invite the other gentleman up first
Sure.
to see what he thinks. Then we can talk about what he thinks.
Killian, 65 North Stark, K&R Disposal.
You understand why we couldn't continue the conversation last time?
Yes, it was back and forth, and that's why this time I was like, what do we
Now
do?
you can, now you can have a conversation.
Okay. So, basically, I don't know if you want me to reiterate everything I said last time. I saw that Jason, I stayed for the plastics, which I think is an option. I think that the metal option that I had presented to the board, I don't know if Bruce and Mr. Goodwin had seen what I had said about separating metal. That is something that you guys, it can start happening quicker, and you can change that in quicker and start getting, a little bit more money into,
You mean the demolition?
no, the metal, the scrap metal.
Scrap metal.
White metal and steel.
Yeah.
Yeah, instead of getting all just light iron for it,
Heavy and light.
you're,
The only problem we have is, it's a great idea, but it's more labor we may not have. That's the only reason I would say. If we had extra labor to do that,
I
by
think
all-
your point was to have the customers be doing it on the way in, not.
it's either or. I
wasn't
know
that
they had
what you-
changed the times, so that way they're working 15 minutes the end of each day. That's
I
fine.
watched it, wasn't that kind of the point you were making?
Yeah, either the people do it,
Before they
or,
get there.
yeah, or have it piled up, and then at the end of the day, they grab the backhoe and,
Unfortunately, I'm not trying to bring any
no, I was throwing out a suggestion.
But we still can't get people to not throw propane tanks in there.
Well, and this would also, with this solution that I'm stating, the gentleman at the transfer station or the help up there would be the ones loading the dumpster. So they would guarantee at that point
You put it on the ground.
that you put it in the ground.
Yeah, okay.
That way there's guarantee there's no propane tanks, there's nothing bad going in there, and then you resolve that issue. And then you're also separating and creating more revenue for the transfer station that way. I'd like to kind of say the commercial haulers are a lot like the situation the town has with Sizemore. You guys are the customer, and you pay Wheelabrator to get rid of it. The taxpayers pay for the transfer station to be open to get rid of it. When Sizemore, great company by the way, Sizemore goes and hauls it in, they're not the ones paying Wheelabrator.
We understand.
You know what I mean? So that's kind of another way that I was trying to compare and contrast on how
We
how
get the
this
bill
is.
from Wheelabrator, we get the bill from,
Sizemore. Yep. Yeah, just like they get their tax bill and then they get my quarterly bill. I would caution a clear bag idea. Perfect, love it. Plastic, I wouldn't rush into it. I would do it January 1, so that way you can communicate with the public over the next 6-7 months and be like, hey, this is what we're doing, this is what we're going to. Kind of setting stuff up slowly but surely, getting the people that go in there all the time, oh yeah, I gotta do that, oh yeah, I gotta do that. And going and doing it January 1st. I think doing it, if you're gonna implement it, I don't know if that June 8th would be that day that you'd want to implement that or whatever, but I would just say, if you're going to implement anything, do it the first of the year. That way you can educate the public enough on why you're doing it, you know, at least for the clear bag thing. And I'm saying this to save the headache for the gentleman up at the transfer station, because they're going to get the brunt of this, unfortunately, whether they like it or don't like it, they're going to get most of it. And I'm sure you guys will have people here commenting what they believe. I also would like to know the numbers that you had come up with. I know you said you didn't want to say your source, where you get the numbers, but I think that it's unfair to cite those numbers and cite your
I
sources.
said, pick a number you want. You gave us your number. You gave us 296.
But the initial conversation
Yeah,
that
but
we
I said
had,
estimate. I said, pick a number. You tell me what your number is.
but that could be, this could be applied to anything, and that's the issue, is
I'm
it's,
just saying, I use that as a way of getting the conversation started. I was willing to take your own personal number, and we did. And basically, I said, cut it in half. It's the same number. It's cut in half. So,
I mean, I don't,
it's costing the town of Ware, and I use the
I
same term
would
again,
strongly
to
disagree, 'cause
subsidize your business, where other businesses in town, other businesses go to door, corner at the edge of the road or whatever, and take it to Wheelabrator, or take it
well,
to
that's what differentiates my business from theirs. They do that for certain reasons. I go to you guys because, one, they've had plenty of people that have done curb forever. Two, the taxpayers are paying to have their trash hauled out anyways. They're paying that to have that, whether they go there or I go there, how it gets there.
transfer station.
Yep, absolutely.
Matter of fact, a lot more probably than you do, than this town.
That's fine.
And they're still making a living, and
Oh,
if everybody's
that's great. I'm not concerned about my competitors, who I get along with very, very well.
But I think we've exhausted the
But
subject.
it's not subsidized when the taxpayers are already paying for it. And they're paying to have the transfer station open. It's,
But they're not paying, taxpayers are not paying
what they're paying for is,
Wheelabrator to take the stuff that goes out of town.
what they're paying for is for me to leave my house, drive to their house, pick up their trash, bring it to the transfer station.
Some of the
That's
people-
what that
Some of the
is.
people in town of Ware are doing that. Some of the people in town of Ware are not doing that, and they're still paying the taxes. Okay? So you
Well,
can't have
some
it
of the
both.
people, Jack, and let me step in, because I've been listening to this for 3 weeks, and I'm not entirely happy with this entire conversation.
You what?
I'm not happy with the conversation. You know, there's a lot of taxpayers in this town that don't have kids in the school, but they still pay the school tax. There's a lot of people in this town that have never called an ambulance, never called a fire truck, never called a police car to their house, and they still pay for it every week. There are some people that are invalid. They stay in their house constantly. They do not drive on the roads. They don't spend any money at the gas station. They don't put wear and tear on the roads, but they still pay the Public Works Department to take care of the roads and plow. It doesn't matter what the subject is, there are certain people that pay for it, and there are certain people that don't. As a taxpayer in the town, there's a certain amount of money that you pay in your taxes. Some of it goes here, some of it goes there, some of it goes there, some of it goes there. It doesn't really matter whether or not the person uses that service or not. It's still subsidizing that service. I'm gonna take exception with you using the word subsidizing a business, because that's not what's happening. What's happening is, people are utilizing a service to do something they don't want or cannot do themselves.
Okay, I'll accept your
Period.
disagreement. I'm just saying, that's my position. You may differ.
All right, my position is different than yours.
Very good.
And I don't think, first of all, I would like to bring up an email that we got from Mr. Eldon Towns today, or yesterday, and he makes a good point. We don't really know what the number is. We have a scale going in later this year, hopefully soon, where we will get accurate numbers as to what is actually being brought in. It's not a guess at how many yards
What would
somebody
you
has.
do with it?
It will be,
But what would you
you
do
will
with
have
it?
actual data.
But what would you do with it if you knew?
Well,
What would I
dude,
do with
6,
what?
What would you do with the data if you know exactly down to a tenth of a pound? What would you do with the data? What would you do with it?
We can make an accurate representation as to
I'm
what it
saying-
really does cost.
I use his numbers.
He doesn't.
I don't know
he
what
knows-
my
he
exact
knows
works
six.
because there's no
He
scale.
knows how much he.
That's what I
loans
asked him for, and he gave me it.
I gave you a rough idea. I didn't give you
Well, tell me
exact
what your
numbers
number
at all
is.
because
Is it-
during Christmas time we're a lot lighter because of all wrapping.
I'm just saying,
Do you 100% exclusively use the town aware transfer station to get rid of your stuff?
For the town of Ware, if it's a junk job and it's a big one, no, we bring it up to Naughton's. But if for curbside, if the customer's in Ware, yes.
Curbside residential trash.
Curbside, residential, trash.
I guess that's what I was asking.
I shouldn't say curbside because we also go
I guess
up
that's what I was
driveways.
asking about. You don't take town aware trash to Naughton's.
No.
You take it.
Unless they were like, hey, we're broken down, we would probably go up, we would go up there.
I get it. But if you're saying on a normal
Nope.
week, you pick up the trash from where and it goes to where? Okay, so you know that number.
I know how many customers, yes, but I can't tell you the exact weight and tonnage.
You cannot tell me the weight because we don't have a damn scale yet. That is my point.
but what
Jack.
does it matter if we know the
don't know
weight?
what the number is because there's
You
no.
earlier said it's a way by the police, the fire, the DPW, all this. Even if we came up with a precise number of tons, you didn't seem to be interested in even the conversation.
That's not what I'm saying, Jack. I am interested in the number of tons.
Oh, now we are. Okay, now I understand. I thought you didn't
But we
care.
can't know what the number of tons is if we don't weigh it.
What do you do with New
We
Boston
only
trash?
know what we pay to
That
get it
goes to
shipped out.
Naughton's.
We don't.
Along
know.
with, usually we do, so New Boston's, we have like extra room, so then after New Boston's, we'll go wherever, pick up
So why
a
do you-
junk job,
Why do you bring
put
New
it in
Boston's
there.
to Naughton's?
Because I don't think New Boston allows commercial haulers.
What do you go with Deering's trash?
That one goes to Naughton's as well, when we do Deering, Bedford, Henniker, Dumbarton,
Why do you
And
bring,
Naughton's has a scale. So they
why
know.
don't you bring it to Deering?
because Deering doesn't have a transfer station.
And Hillsborough won't take it?
No, Hillsborough lets commercial haulers in there. They, as long as they follow the rules. There's tons of towns. Webster has a whole thing with commercial haulers. There's a company in Hopkinton that hauls their trash there. I mean, it's not like Ware's the only one. You know what I mean?
And when you go to Hillsborough, how are they?
I don't go to Hillsborough. I don't have
Say
a
you did. How do they measure how much you got?
Well, I think how they do it now, I haven't been going there in 4 years. I think clear bags just get backed in and thrown, and if there's any black or non-clear bags, I think they go on a scale, and I don't know what they pay for ton. I don't know any of that stuff, because I don't,
They have a scale.
they have a scale, yes.
Kind of where it's going.
But take me through this logic of yours, just so I understand it. We don't have a scale, and I don't think anybody was ever proponents to weigh domestic trash. I just was never thinking about that. That's more the demolition. So if you even did know what the tonnage was, are you thinking about maybe doing something with the cost of that hauling? That's what I'm trying to get across.
Commercial haulers typically get weighed to get rid of their waste. He doesn't in Ware because we don't have a scale.
I understand that, but why does it matter? That's what I'm trying to say. I concede the fact that they do get weighed, but
Right.
what would you do with a weight, even if it's perfectly accurate for the total year? What would you do with it?
It would be a tipping fee per pound, or
It would have to be whatever the ton fee is for,
Well, there is no ton fee. That's what I'm
we
trying to
haven't
say.
established anything yet.
If you're willing to charge him for tipping at the town, that's a good idea.
How do you pay when you go to somewhere else?
I go on a scale.
Exactly.
And I want to voice my opinion real quick on one or two things. When the commercial haulers was being written, I did state that charge more than $250. Fell on deaf ears.
What's that now?
For the commercial haulers contract. I said, you should charge more.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
But I just want to state that. But also, I guess I just don't see your side on how it's subsidizing when it's my gas, my fuel, going
No,
the Buxton School and back, and how other trash companies do it is how they do it. And they have to bring certain tonnage to certain places for certain things.
I know that we're trying to save money, and I know that we need to cut money from the budget however we can. When we just talked to the park department about cutting hours at Chase Park, we have a limited amount of money due to a default budget, and we need to cut it. But you cannot take that money from people that rely on this service that you provide.
I'm not taking the money. I'm just saying, I'm not taking the money from them. I'm not trying to do that. I'm not trying to write a check from the town to the other haulers that,
So before this became a conversation, those other towns, if they followed all the rules in this contract, they could have came to the transfer station. But that's not how they run their business. This contract, how long has this contract been a commercial waste hauler? Since what, the 90s? Probably? So all these businesses around have had the opportunity to go, hey, I want to dump Ware trash at the Ware transfer station.
you know why they don't?
But it doesn't fit their business model.
You know
And it
why they
doesn't
don't?
fit their business model.
You know why?
Why?
No, I'm asking you, do you know why?
Because they have to bring a certain amount of tonnage somewhere. I would imagine, and/or, as it says in here, they compact their trash. So it can't be poked through. The guys get up to the transfer station, can open up any bag they want. We'll stop, we'll help them. I don't know what the issue is.
Well, the issue was, looking at the budget, I was shocked to see $300,000 for hauling 2,058 tons a year, including fuel for the trucking and the tipping. And I said to myself, wow, that's a big piece of money. And I know certain haulers in this town, which maybe have a different business model. Mine, for instance, doesn't go to the Ware. It goes to Wheelerbury.
That's great. But they had the opportunity to come here.
But you also don't know, out of that 300 number that you're talking about, how much of it comes from commercial and how much of it comes from homeowners. There's no way to...
Oh, it's all homeowners, except for him. There's nobody else tips in except for, he's the only one with a permit that tips in the town of Ware's transfer station.
So you don't know how much is coming from him, and you don't know how much
Well-
is coming from other homeowners.
Well, I know, again, estimate, I know how many facilities that calls homes in the town of Ware, and I know what he told me. I was able to do the math real quick, within probably 10%. It comes out to be a reasonably big number. I'm just saying, if this is what we want to do, fine. I just want the conversation, because it's a much bigger number than Parks and Recs.
Would you say the tonnage was for the year, Jack?
For who?
The tonnage for the year that we hauled the wheelbarrow? You just rattled it off.
2058.
2,500.
2,500 tons.
I think it's 2058.
2,556 last year.
Well, that's you back there?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll take that number.
He would know. Kelly, when you go to other towns, and you pick up other towns' trash, and you go get weighed, is your truck reasonably, it looks about the same as a Ware day?
Depends on the day, yeah. It honestly depends. Ware's definitely our biggest town where we service. And we did, yeah, I guess it all
But
kind of...
you have a rough idea of like, say you go do Deering and Bedford, whatever, you know how
Yep.
much trash you're gonna get approximately.
Roughly.
Is that a reasonably close number to what you would pick up in Ware? So
In all those
when you
towns?
Get rid of it.
No.
you get weighed.
Yep.
Would you say that what you're getting weighed from other towns is approximately what you think it would weigh if you were in Ware at a scale?
Per truck.
Per load?
Per loaded truck, yeah, we can fit about 2 tons.
Okay.
How many trips,
So I actually have that. Let me grab that
how many trips a week do you typically come to Ware?
So I know that it is, I have it written down in my notes. Tuesday is 1 full load and then a 3/4 load, but I say full load, and that includes a quarter of the truck being recycling every time we come in. Cardboard alone is most of that.
And you said roughly it's 2 tons of trash per load.
Roughly,
All right.
around there. And then Wednesday is a full load and a half load, so it'd be 1 1/4, because quarter of that load. So I would say 1 1/2 on Tuesday, and then 1 1/4 on Wednesday.
You only come 2 days?
2 days. That's it. And I do all my other towns when when Town of Ware transfer stations close.
So on a heavy week, it would be 3 tons.
No, 6
No, it'd be
Closer to 5.
closer to 5-ish.
Per
You
week?
said 1 1/2 on Tuesday and 1 1/4, oh, loads. So it's
Loads, so then two,
I got
yeah.
mixed up, sorry. So it's about 6 tons. 6 tons would be.
6 tons, roughly.
Per week?
6 tons a week.
Roughly going into Ware.
So it's 300 tons a year?
Yeah.
Yeah, roughly.
And what percentage of that of the,
Jason, how many tons did you say recently?
25,000.
2,556
last year.
2,550.
what's that, like 13, like 12%, 11%?
And you're doing 300 tons.
300 into 25?
2,256 tons that are not yours. And how much does that cost us? The 2,556 tons?
And it's $100.
a ton.
So,
So it's $36,000.
26.
what's 2,556?
That's 300, it's $300 a ton. 300 tons, $100 a ton.
Right, so 30,000.
Yeah.
So that's what his portion of that is. It's not 300,000, it's 30,000.
Well,
20, I think it did it out like roughly 26. 26 to 30, somewhere in that.
That's 5 tons a week, Gillian.
Up 30.
5.
26,000 is 5 tons a week.
Yeah. Yeah, so then, okay. Yep,
So 26 to 30.
yep.
12%.
Not the 77 when this was first brought up. Not $77,000.
Well, I just said, pick your number.
Well, hey, that's fine. I mean, but when it comes to you're talking
I'm
about,
trying to get to the number. And it looks like
I'm saying roughly around there.
Roughly
Yep,
30,000.
30,000. Yep.
So that's the number.
That's the number.
Okay.
We're gonna call it number 30.
Okay.
30,000 what?
Dollars.
Dollars.
And that's
So-
12% of
But-
the yearly haul.
We don't know how many of those dollars,
It's
if
36,000.
he wasn't hauling it, how many of those dollars would still make it to our transfer station?
That's true.
That's the question, isn't it? We're assuming we were to shut down all of our commercial haulers,
Right.
how many of those people would
Still hire a hauler.
still, well, A, how many would they hire to go, that would end up going someplace else? Or B, that trash would still end up in Ware, it's just
Wait a minute.
individuals bringing it.
Say that again, because you don't govern my trash
So,
hauler.
so,
Didn't say that.
right, so split the 5 tons a week that Killian brings.
I'm gonna talk about his point.
Okay,
You said, my guy,
no, didn't say that.
well, the guy I use,
No, shall I repeat it?
yes.
Okay. I said, let's assume that we should, because the idea is that we might be able to save $30,000 of payout for the trash hauling. That's the whole purpose of this.
No, it's just a question of, it's what's costing us. Now you can decide what you wanna do with it.
Well, so assuming that we decide
anything,
that
because
we
it's
don't want
taxpayers'
to pay
trash.
that out anymore, we shut down this operation. So in theory, all of Killian's customers would either take the trash to Ware transfer station themselves, which we're still going to pay for that removal, or they pay somebody else to come and get it, and take it someplace else.
Or option C is Killian takes it somewhere else, like he does with other towns already.
I'm just saying, I just wanted a conversation on the cost, okay? And we're having that. Now, the question is, what do you want to do about it? Frankly, I can tell you right now, you got a permit for this year?
I got it right here, and I'm not handing it over.
Is it in?
So I can tell you what, December 31st.
Thank you. You basically have a contract in your hand. You can do nothing between now and the end of the year with you. Period.
That's fine.
Okay. I just wanted the conversation of what this is costing us.
I don't
to
think
have
it's costing
people tip
anything.
Commercial haulers in our transfer station. And at 12% of,
So does that mean we're gonna see, if you don't, right, the town doesn't renew the commercial waste haulers contract, that means a 12% budget decrease should be in form for the transfer station's budget, is what we're saying. I'd like you to answer
I'm
that
not
too.
even saying that, because we don't know what it might even look like.
But if I'm saving costing the town 12%.
If it all goes away somewhere else.
Correct. If we stop Killian.
Yep, if you stop me, then in the proposed budget, that should be reduced.
But you won't see it. You won't see it, because to James's point, and probably 50% of them are gonna say, I'll just bring it to the train station myself. If Killian won't do it. And then you're going to have increased traffic up there, which is already at capacity. And that's presenting a problem right there, because it's already tight on Saturdays, and that's most of the time people can go. So, and, you know, obviously Killian also brings elderly and disabled
Yeah,
people
but
for
that's
free.
the town's comment. This is all supposition.
No, that was my comment earlier, Jeff.
Yeah,
When you first
but
brought
the
this up.
point I'm making is, if people are hiring him to do it, they're probably gonna hire another person, there's 4 other people to do it.
Not necessarily. That's an assumption. That's an assumption.
That's a wicked assumption.
You're saying 50%, I say a hell of a lot less than that.
And maybe we both don't know that number though.
You're all assuming he's just gonna give up his customer and say, I'm not doing it anymore.
So, what do we wanna do? Now that we've aired this enough, and we know, we have a reasonable understanding of what the cost is, you wanna do nothing? Are we doing something? Or table it? I really don't care. I just wanted to have, this is a huge number that we will otherwise wouldn't address. If we want to punt and say it's too hard, I'm good with that too. But it's gonna take an awful lot of cutting the expense budget for people's departments to come up with that kind of money.
I don't think it's too hard, I think.
So now you're gonna use my business against other departments. It's basically what you just stated.
I don't think it's too hard.
So I'm the reason why Parks and Rec won't open, I'm the reason, right?
Do you have any more questions to ask us?
Yeah. Other than I'd like to have the information when you first originally got it and first brought it up.
You're not gonna get it.
I'm sure I won't, because that wouldn't make too much sense. Other than the metal recycling, I really think you guys should look into that and see you doing that before you do the plastics. And I think that you guys should do January 1 for the clear bags. I think recycling is a little bit easier to kind of get people in motion of it, and then clear bags January 1.
Any other questions for
Any other questions from anybody?
this gentleman?
You said it's about 300 customers, right? Rough.
Say what?
You have about roughly 300 customers.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't.
I guess, no more questions for you?
I got no more
Thank you.
questions. You're welcome.
We'll figure out what we're gonna do.
I'm sure you will.
All right.
Canadian here.
If you said nothing, Jason, I think the best thing you could do.
I'm not sure how I follow any of that up. That was good. I would like to say that us down at the Public Works Department really have no problems doing whatever you guys want to do. Ultimately, in the end, we just need some really solid direction on what we're going to do, how we're going to do it.
Do we have any?
We can
other-
figure out the how, but what we're going to do.
Do we have
obviously.
any other permits pending?
So you have at least one other gentleman who brings trash in on Saturday. I don't think I've seen a permit from him at this point.
Okay.
You have one other permit
We're bringing
that's,
trash now with no permit?
I believe so still, not, he's, yeah, I mean, I don't wanna call anybody out, but I think he's a disabled vet, picks up like 10 houses or something. I don't know him very well, I'm not up there a lot on Saturday, so, that's just what I'm being told from my guys. You have one other person who's cut a check and signed their portion of it. I believe that has some chicken scratch on it from one of our guys up at the transfer station. I don't believe we've cashed his check yet. So that's, I guess, up to,
So that particular one,
Let's wait on that.
okay.
where do we want to go from here?
Well, the question is, do you have anything else you want from us? You mentioned last time, I think you and TJ, and we finally said in the meeting, that you want to go to clear. Does that mean clear, or does that mean
Translucent?
translucent, transparent,
Yeah.
something?
Yep, I think it's a good way to promote recycling for us. We might have a little bit of pushback from that, obviously. Change is always a different,
But with bringing recycling back, we probably ought to table that until roughly what Killian recommended of January 1st. And that was the initial one you recommended too.
yeah, I would really like to keep the momentum we have up at the transfer station going. People are happy with the way it looks. People are happy with the way things are going. If we can slowly ease into some of these changes, I think it's
Recycling and,
better.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
recycling is still going. I mean, we
But
have,
the clear number twos,
Yeah, but
that's coming back after 6 years of not being there.
yeah, I understand, but I'm saying, unless somebody bought 10 lifetime supplies of non-clear bags, I mean, it seems like a long time. I mean, unless maybe James has got steamer trunks full of plastic colored bags.
Well, as the owner of a trash bag manufacturing facility.
There you go.
No, I do not. But we typically buy one box from Hannaford and of the tall kitchen trash bags, and it lasts us about a year. So, I mean, and we don't go through that much. I know we don't go through as much trash as a lot of people because we do recycle, and we've been separating out our plastic continuously, putting it in a bin. We end up just dropping it in the hopper anyway because there's no recycling. But for us, it'd be easy to go back to
Separate.
separate out the clear stuff, and that's what you want. We would just keep doing it. You know, that part's easy enough. But the clear, what is advertised as clear trash bags, when you look on Hannaford and stuff, they advertise them as clear, so whether they're translucent or whatnot,
Would you prefer-
that is what it is. But they're, instead of getting 45 bags in a box, you typically get 35. Again, just looking at Hannaford real quick. And well, they're a little more expensive, but, you know, it's not like it's outside the budget, because we're talking, you know, a couple of pennies per bag anyway. But that would be that's a relatively easy change, I think. I think starting the clear plastic as soon as possible would be relatively easy too. Maybe it's not enforced, but just say, hey, you know, we're gonna start
We're
this.
moving this direction.
This is where we're going in. We're gonna start collecting it and have it, and just have people start bringing that.
Just so we can revisit the dollars and cents why clear bags make sense. Less goes to Wheelabrator if we're recycling more. If we're recycling more money goes in our coffers for potential updates to the, it's called a special revenue fund. Is that what it is?
The revolving fund?
Revolving fund. I can-
No,
Revolving fund,
recycle
which is-
special revenue fund.
It's
Not
special revenue
revolving.
fund. It's special revenue fund.
Whatever the fund name is, it's for the total benefit of the transfer station upgrade. And you know how hard it is trying to get a capital asset approved this is their only vehicle for updating a 36-year-old facility.
More than that, I would like to focus you guys on the fact that I think it was 3 or 4 years ago now, we got rid of 2,200 tons of trash at the end of that year. We've gone up 300 tons. That's a lot of money out of the operating budget. So I'm not sure if that's just because it's been a little bit lax up the transfer station when it comes to mandatory recycling or not. I'd like to, obviously, the money does help go back into the facility, but everybody wants to see a reduction in their tax bill. And if we get the budget down that way, that's as far as bags. But I see that 6 months needed for a transition time just
Before it's mandatory.
before it's mandatory as far as kind of a mentality around town to get that,
Swung.
yeah.
Right, so you recommend it, but we're not gonna mandatory it until, okay.
I think when we update a couple weeks here, we go for the,
I think we can make a decision as a board, but I take his recommendation.
I would agree.
we go to update the solid waste ordinance. I think we just put that in effective January 1st, whatever. But-
And can I just ask, where would we put that? Only because we posted for the public hearing because of the holiday, and people would like to know what we're looking to change.
Yeah.
So I think
Where would we insert clear bags as of January 1st?
is somewhere in the solid waste ordinance. So I think you just make a different,
Recycling?
yeah, let me get to,
Recyclables, recycling, prohibited waste, eligibility, transfer station units.
you could, I guess you could put it under separation and sorting. You just make a different, make a different number in that policy.
So it'll be 5.1.
Yeah, something along those lines.
Well, I was thinking more along 5.3 because you're not supposed to put your recyclables in it, right? You're just gonna.
Yeah, so-
You're gonna use your waste.
Yeah, so I guess section 5, you add, it, maybe,
5.3?
yeah, maybe in section 5, you just add a 5.4 that specifies clear bags. Effective as of whatever date. We already haven't, we already,
5.2 that kind of says that waste shall be in a proper suitable areas, large bulky items placed, whatever. We
Yep.
just add on to that. The clear bag is a container, that's a requirement.
just make it a whole new section so it's not hidden in there.
5.4
So
it is,
clear or translucent bags will be required effective January 1st,
2027.
2027?
Mm-hmm. I can,
And the other changes that we're making are just for our viewing public.
It talks about plastics in here anyway.
yeah, so plastics are in there already that
Vegetables
we,
and plastic glass metals.
we,
Yeah.
c- we could accept them.
Number 2 is what you got for the week, because it can change. How do people know that number 2 is now the requested plastic to recycle? Is there a sign up or something?
There will be.
There will be, yep.
They put orders.
That PowerPoint that I had up for you guys last week, we'd get one of those signs.
Okay.
We already have in there that it's mandatory recycling.
Yep, I've got it right here. Well, what else are we changing in the public hearing, other than adding a 5.4?
There's
I think
obviously some,
We'll come up with a motion later to do that. We just talked about it now, but I'd really rather go through revisit the legal opinion we got.
Okay.
It's okay to have a conversation now. We're just not saying it yet.
whatever you guys want to do with commercial haulers.
So how do you how do you validate that? I know it's an unfair question, but I'm gonna ask it anyways. How do you validate that people actually are applying mandatory recycling to their delivery, to the transfer station?
Well, as far as the guys just seeing them taking recyclables out of the back of the truck or car, are we talking commercial haulers or just everybody in general?
In general, they should treat everybody the same.
Yeah, so when the guys are out, you know, in the parking lot, they see people going back and forth recycling. Obviously, they do notice the people who just come in and throw the bags in and leave, and they're not going over to the recyclable
So what
area.
happens to those people?
As of right now, really nothing. We haven't really, the town as a whole hasn't been on board with the mandatory recycling as much as I think we should be, but
Okay, okay, that's a fair statement. I was just trying to figure out what practice was implemented.
yep.
What would we do if somebody does bring opaque bags, black bags, white bags, after January 1st?
That's up to you guys. I know that other towns, and they're
Turn right around.
a bit more aggressive than we are, would take the bag and take down the license plate and call the police, and it gets shipped back to their house. That's a little overboard, if you ask me. You turn them away.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm hoping we find it before they
Yeah.
just throw it in the hopper.
That's why I'm hoping for this 6 months of just blaring in your face, hey, as of this date, we're doing this. As of this date, we're doing this. You know, the signboard's up. I'll post every other week on Facebook and say, hey, we're doing this, January 1st. It's my hope that we don't get to a situation like that, but obviously, it could happen.
Could that be subject to, I mean, contractor bags typically can have insulation and stuff in it. Is that a demo amount? Or is that?
If somebody's gonna do that, then yeah, it would be construction debris, you know? If they're bringing in bulky items or demo in black bags, it's not that big a deal. We're not gonna ask people to bring in construction debris in clear bags
Yeah.
if it's gonna go in the demo. But
I guess that could be something that's waived then, right, once we get the...
Yeah, come up with a per bag cost temporarily.
Probably put it on the little scale if it's something you can pick up.
well, we'll have a scale for sure by January 1st. So
And just to reiterate, you're gonna try to find clear bags at a discounted rate so people can buy them at our cost. We're not making any money on them, or they can use their own wherever they get them.
Yep.
Okay. Social media tends to distort things, so just
No.
trying to clear that up right off the bat.
that's what I said. We can buy them bulk at a discounted rate more than likely, from what I hear from other towns, and we won't sell them for a profit. It'll be at cost. If anybody wants to do that. If people want to buy their own, they can buy their own.
I know you've done a significant job of improving the hygiene of the transfer station, also the labeling, and everybody knows where to go and stuff like that with this stuff. Is anybody giving you guys a hard time regarding that?
It happens. It happens. Some people don't want to pay to get rid of something. I mean, it's the way it goes.
Just in talking with people, I've had nothing but good things from
Very good.
people in the
That's what I've
town.
heard too.
Yeah, they're doing a great job up there.
They really are.
So if you issued this RFP, do you have any idea of the lead time of this contractor?
Scale.
The scale.
Scale for getting the thing implemented? Like a 90-day later, he can get it working?
Let me check on that for you. I couldn't remember what the last bid said. Looks like there's a 6-week lead time just for all the stuff to get down to the site and then construction after.
Good guess.
All right.
How long does a Waymaster license take to get?
I'm not 100% sure.
How many would you need? Because,
You just need one. Well, as long as that person's there every day.
so would
So.
that be,
PJ?
We should send 2,
Yeah, we should send them both.
the full-timers.
good. So where will the electronics be for that? In the office that you currently have?
No, so we had a kind of a proposal to actually move the old Still Good shed over.
The what?
The Still Good shed, the swap shop.
Swap shop.
Oh,
We had kind of proposed on moving that over 50 feet to the left from where it is and using that as a scale house and parking the scale right in front of that. That saves a little bit of money as far as building a structure. And really all we gotta do is wire up 20 amp service in there for the computer. That's all we need. So that would be fairly simple.
so how would the operation go? They come and drive up on it?
Drive up on the scale operator would check and make sure that they have a sticker, and then write down their sticker number, their weight. They go over, dump off, they'd have to come back around, back up, double check, same sticker number, empty weight, complete the transaction, and then they can leave.
Have we decided if we're gonna take credit cards?
Historically, we haven't. I think we've looked at it a couple times, and there's gonna be a
Big cost?
3%, right?
3% fee.
3% fee, so we haven't done it purely for the fact that, 1 pound propane tanks are like $2, and we'd end up, it's a 3% or a minimum of $5 or something, so, yeah,
The tax
so
bill is $2.95.
you'd end up having somebody pay $5 to get rid of a 1 pound propane tank, and then a grill size tank is the same $5. Those thingers are just gonna end up in the trash, or,
So you're gonna still
Wherever.
charge, you're still gonna scale propane tanks?
no. No, those are a flat rate for what they are, just
Tires are
bring,
flat rate, propane tanks are flat rate.
Yeah,
ACs
just-
are flat rate.
bring that up as an example for the credit cards, that's all.
Anything else?
I have some other business for Jason to go down with this conversation. If you can bring it up now.
If he's willing to answer.
What do you got?
So at the end of Maplewold going into Mount Dearborn, I understand there's some fairly large trees that are close to the road that may be getting clipped, or they're getting, they're about ready to fall over, let's put it that way. There's less and less trees to them. And my understanding is there's been a little bit of pushback from some folks about going in and cutting those down.
Historically, yes.
Yeah, just what was your opinion on those situations, and what would it take to actually clean them out, to take them down and fix that area?
I have personally not asked the owner of that piece of property about them in the time that I've been the DPW director. I've been told in the past that it was a no-go previously. It could be a different story now.
Are they on the town property?
Or town right away.
Yeah, but they're oversized, they're not our trees.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do they look like they're in danger of falling?
I received some pictures. I don't know how well they'll pass around,
The scenic road? Maplewold, the scenic road?
You mean the plows hit them or something like that?
Maplewold.
These are on the stretch just before Mount Dearborn, right?
Yeah, coming down the hill towards the
I've seen
cemetery.
them. Yeah,
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 they're
they've been hit pretty hard.
They've been scarred.
By the wing plow. Oh, wow. Yeah, they've been smashed pretty hard by the wing plow.
Just a matter of time.
That's just one. I think there's at least
There's
one.
two or three,
Yeah, there's
yeah.
at least one more. So,
Send a beaver loose in there, they'll finish it off pretty quick.
Yeah, on the backside.
We don't need any more problems with them.
Got plenty of problems already.
Not that I want to have anything, motions to make, but I guess the question is, do we as a,
Inquire into it.
yeah, can we acquire, do we as a board have any oversight where we can just make a motion and say, take them down, you know?
Well,
There is avenues you guys can go. I don't know if, Ricky, you're probably familiar, I don't know if the rest of you are at all. The Hard Road to Travel book that kind of outlines a lot of things as far as what we can do to maintain roads and stuff like that. I'd have to have it in front of me to kind of tell you, but you can send out notices and stuff like that.
Kind of like what Eversource is doing now.
Yeah, yeah.
It's similar.
It is similar. I would really like to have a good relationship with residents, so I don't really want to just go, hey, yeah, here you go. That gentleman's well entwined in the town as well, so I mean, it's not, it'd be easy to get a hold of him and talk to him about it.
If you could start there, I think.
Maybe reapproach and
Yep,
new face.
can be done.
Let us know.
Anything else with Jason?
That gold patch in Pine Grove. Thank you.
It's summertime, everybody's taking vacation,
Yeah, you can't be doing that.
and the whole crew's out on South Sugar,
Okay.
changing pipes, doing that, but,
On the
yeah,
side of it.
no, we'll get to that for sure.
I hit it myself, Pine Grove Cemetery. I hit it myself Sunday, so.
Yep.
Changing pipes on Sugar Hill South, did you get that one just below the ice cream stand that's been plugged up?
We haven't made it there yet.
Okay.
Yeah, we're working our
Three
way
houses
from the
down
end.
south of the ice cream stand, there's one that's almost completely disappeared.
It was gone until we dug it up.
Okay.
Not a problem anymore.
Now it's there.
Yeah.
Now it's observant.
Yep, and we're gonna wait for a Tuesday to do the one at the beginning of the road, so the ice cream stand isn't open.
Good time.
Yep. It's really hopeful we can get the guys some ice cream at the end of the day, but that's all right. Yeah, so they're doing a good job of that. That's our main focus right at the moment. We've been trying to keep up, obviously. There's some things that we can't hit right away. I know it seems kind of trivial, but those two guys that are down, that's a patch crew, that's a chip crew real quick, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, again, we're doing all right, but that's a little bit of a struggle when it comes to that. Transfer station, those guys, we got some new signs from New Hampshire the Beautiful. I don't think I've told you guys this yet. Those came in a couple weeks ago. So you'll see a bunch of new signage up there. We've actually got nice pictures on them now. It's not just all words, so those are pretty handy. Those help out a little bit as far as people kind of differentiating aluminum cans or tin cans. It just doesn't say cans or foil, whatnot. So that's good. TJ has been doing a heck of a job cleaning up. We're gonna start that No Thursday thing here this week. I don't see us having a problem. You and Benson and Bruce weren't here last week, but we did that. Got a lawnmower up there now, so he's mowing the hillsides, keeping that all cleaned up. I guess that's all the updates for the transfer station and the highway department. We've been doing quite a bit of spring cleaning in the shop, trying to hoe out some more stuff. Yeah, we got one of the 3 balers down at the shop, get a new floor put in it. See other major repairs. We had to pull out of Sugar Hill for a day. We had a crack in the boom on the excavator, so mechanic got that welded up. That's back over there working. We've been working on our screener to get that going for winter sand. That should be ready to go here. If anybody's in the area of East Road, you saw us trucking out quite a bit of material a couple weeks ago until we got started out on Sugar Hill. So that's in process so we can have enough sand for the winter time. We've been doing a lot, so trying to get out there, show people that we're doing stuff.
One other culvert question. Went on a planning board site walk a couple of months ago on River Road. just south of that subdivision AMS is doing. There's a big depression there, and if you're heading south on the left-hand side, that floods, and we looked at it, and the inlet for the culvert there is completely collapsed, and so the water's ponding there now, and it's, when it ponds, it gets to be like 8 to 10 feet deep.
Which, do you have a house number?
Can you get it to him?
Yeah, I can get it to you.
Drop
So-
it up here.
There's,
It's around the intersection of Jennifer Lane.
Yeah, just south of that.
big lawn out front, is that the one that you're
No,
talking about?
It's a woods on the right, and there's the railroad track, your railroad bed is right adjacent to River Road right there, and it actually goes underneath your railroad bed.
Is it by Matheson's house?
Yep.
Yeah, that's, yeah, okay. Yeah, that's an old stone culvert
Yeah,
under there.
Seems like the inlet end is just completely collapsed.
The whole pipe's collapsed. Well, it's not even really a pipe, it's a, like I said, it's
Stone block
it's a
stone.
stone culvert. That's, you get into historical stuff like that. Talking to people who live in the area, 40 years ago, saying I crawled in that thing 40 years ago and it was collapsing then, so, no, I totally understand. I've been out there multiple times, especially when we do have flooding. A couple years ago when we had real bad flooding, that was plugged up. We got it freed up a little bit. We have been doing some kind of patches. We take ADS water pipe, essentially, put a cone on it and ram it up the inlet, or ram it up the outlet.
Try to push it through.
And you get it through that way. Those come in 40-foot sticks, and we don't have the machine to fuse them together. So that, I measured that one out just because I thought that's something we could be able to do. That's like 60 feet from the
Yeah, it's pretty long.
outlet. Yeah, that's a long one. And the outlet's way off the road. It's, like you said, on the other side of that railroad bed. But yeah, we have to actually talk with the homeowner, and we are going to try to go out there, put some of the bank back, and get that straightened out. But there is like an old metal pipe out off the road 20 or so feet, but that's not the pipe that goes under the road. Yeah. It is an ongoing issue for sure, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Jason. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Jack, can I just ask you, can you just move around the next two? Hugh actually was on the agenda first, but I stuck Pete ahead of him.
Who's that?
Hugh has got the driveway,
You?
which has been to the planning board. It should be pretty simple.
Oh. Sure.
There's a driveway that, piece of property on Martin Road. He went to the planning board. It removes, stone wall removal, part of your ordinance requires to go to planning, then to us. So he had gotten on the agenda, timed it in such fashion, and then Pete needed to get on as well. So Melissa sent you all an email as to it passed, but it just has to get to you guys.
How many feet you taking?
You have to take 30 according to the driveway regulations, tapered back to 20.
So you want,
So you're putting a driveway in.
Yeah, so
Permanent
you-
driveway, not
yeah.
just access to get in it.
It's going to be a permanent lot.
so how many feet do you want, take away?
Whatever's required, I believe
It's 30 tapered back to 20.
30 then.
30 feet of road frontage tapered back to 20 width.
Yeah.
So, how many feet are we telling them to take the rock wall out?
About 30 feet, because by the
30.
time you get ditches and
Thank you,
everything,
that's all I want.
Yeah.
Okay? You guys want to see the application?
Yeah, I'll make the motion of the application. Thing. Yeah, right there. Move to allow Hugh Durack to remove up to 30 feet of stone wall on, at 136 Martin Road, tax map 108, lot 26. And any stone that can be put back in such fashion that it looks like it's existing.
Second.
Discussion? Being none, all those favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Aye, aye.
Thanks for joining us.
Do we need to
Thanks.
sign something, or?
No.
Good.
You're all set.
All right, have a good night.
Thank you.
Take the rest of the night off.
So this is Peter Marsden. Peter Marsden, James, you're familiar with this. It went before Conservation Tuesday, last Wednesday. So I also sent you guys all the backup for the, what we did before. And Peter, if I say something wrong, we were here before, spent a lot of time removing easements, removing things, and you went back to the planning board, got approval, and now there's still, in the color situation, there's still an easement that exists today.
Is this because they want to put a driveway per lot?
Yeah.
Yep, that's correct.
So,
Just so we start, what are you asking us to do to that?
I just want to give you a
What's your
lead.
ask for us?
Sure, yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the board. My name is Pete Madsen, project manager at Keach Nordstrom, representing Tim Bouchard, property owner. We were in front of the Conservation Commission last week, presented this to them. Really what happened out here is there's a conservation easement that was tied to the previous subdivision of the Rolling Hills Trust when that went through in 2003. When we went through and did the subdivision for my client Brian Kelly, you guys had released that right-of-way that went through there, and you released all the other easements except for the conservation easement because we didn't think we were going to need it because we had a shared driveway easement. Now that the lots are sold and property owners are looking to construct, Tim and the abutting property owner have discussed, neither one wants to put the shared driveway in. They would rather have their own individual driveways. So now we need some guidance on what to do with this conservation easement. So just...
Wait a minute, help me out here.
Absolutely, yeah.
The rest of the board. We don't really do anything, do we?
So I think, and this is kind of why I need
That's
some
why I
input.
asked, what's
Yeah,
the ask for us?
absolutely, right, and honestly, I think that's kind of a question I have for you too, really. It seemed like when I brought this before Concom, they recommended coming to you guys and
What?
to see if you could reach out to town council and coordinate with town council for figuring this out, is what my understanding was.
So they're okay with doing this as long as we...
They had no issues releasing the easement, yeah, they don't want it, they didn't even know they had it, and they prefer, yeah, they don't even maintain it.
They ask for our legal to make sure that the language is right.
Correct, yep.
So from the letter, it seems that the easement was granted by someone that didn't have a right to grant it at the time.
Correct, yes. Yep.
Because they weren't the property owner.
They weren't the property owner at the time, correct.
And then the easement was never signed as being accepted by the town.
I don't think that was brought up at the meeting. I talked to my surveyor about it. I don't think the grantor has to sign it. It's just the grantee to grant an easement. So I think technically the town does have
It's
right
binding.
to it. Right, that is binding, and it's been recorded. However,
But it was-
you're correct. The property owner didn't own the land at the time that the
So
easement was
the person
granted.
that signed it had no right to sign it.
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
So the only question I think for an attorney is that easement still binding?
Right.
I mean, I don't think we need, they're also asking for a surveyor. I don't think we need a surveyor to figure that out.
I would
Surveyor's
agree.
not gonna-
I would agree.
It's
Also, my
going
survey,
into the selectmen to release it, but a conservation easement, not so sure. So I think that if we ask Steve Whitley and get these guys an answer, it didn't sound like, and James, it didn't sound like it would be an issue to them. If town council was okay with them releasing it, then we do the documentation that we did the other time, inclusive of, for Tim's lot.
Who's
Yes.
got the complete package we want to give to the attorney?
I think I do.
yeah, I
Sent it to
mean,
me.
yeah, I sent you a
You got everything you
package.
need?
So if you're okay, I don't have a problem, we can send it over to council and we can get that done for him. Tim is just waiting to build.
Sure. But
'cause-
is it a language that we want him to validate, or does he have to come up with a language?
I think it's more or less, is it still binding, and if not, we do a release.
Right, yep.
Okay.
Yes.
So
So that's-
it won't take that long, it's just.
No, I
Shouldn't be
did,
good,
I'll
sir.
forward it to him tonight
We do
and see
that.
if we can get an answer for, but they had to come, because that was the next step, to
Yep.
get some legal advice. But I
Okay.
didn't watch or tune in to the conservation. So if Mr. Whitley gets back to us, just I want to understand, so if Attorney Whitley gets back and says it's not an issue, sends me whatever release would it be okay that I reach you instead of waiting to June 8th, and you guys could come individually sign it and we could notarize it?
I'm good with that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Is that all right? Sound all right with
Fantastic.
you two?
Works for us, absolutely, yeah. Thank you.
Do we need to move to allow that?
You can allow me to contact and work with them and you guys,
All right,
that's
it's
fine.
fine. I'm good with it.
All right, I don't need a motion, I just, as long, that's why I tried to just tell you that you
Right.
understand
Awesome.
it.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Have a good night.
Appreciate it.
All right, thank you, guys.
Reappointment to a 3-year term to the Energy Commission, Elizabeth Evans.
Yeah, 1 second.
Motion
So-
for that?
I'll make
Wait,
a motion.
just hang on. So you have, you're gonna make a motion, she's on the committee now. She'd like to be reappointed. I have the ethics, I have the social media, the ethics, I have her volunteer sign, and I'm gonna ask that you guys sign the bottom of that one if you wanna make the motion or when you make the motion.
I'll make a motion to reappoint Elizabeth Evans to the Energy Commission for a 3-year term.
Second? Wait a second.
Oh, I thought you did. I'll second.
Thank you. Discussion, being done, those in favor?
Aye.
Everybody sign.
And then you guys can sign it and pass it back to me, or James, you can hold it for me, please, and I'll grab it.
Adopt resolution for FEMA.
Yeah, so I also sent you all of this, Bruce mentioned it before, there is a resolution here that I got from the state that they'd like to adopt. This resolution here.
So this is the flood maps?
Yeah, it's for our flood maps that came outside of the window to make a change to the ordinance, so we need to adopt the resolution. And then, I've already spoken with Craig, and we're gonna put it on to make the change to the ordinance.
What if we don't sign this? What's the ramification?
Well, you could, anyone that has flood insurance could be canceled,
Okay, that's good reason.
Oh, let's just, not do that.
yes. So you need to make a motion though, please.
What's the language?
It's coming that way.
It's coming that way. Oh,
I make a motion pursuant to RSA 67457, all land designated as special flood hazard areas by the Federal Emergency Management Agency in its flood insurance study for the county of Hillsborough, New Hampshire, dated June 10th, 2026, together with the associated flood insurance rate map panels dated June 10th, 2026, and September 25th, 2009, or as amended, which I declare to be part of the town of Ware's zoning ordinance, be hereby incorporated by reference.
Second.
Discussion. Being none. All those in favor?
Aye.
And then you
500.
guys can send it down and sign that. And then Jack, you have a manifest next.
Yeah, I got the manifest. Okay, manifest, May 18th, 2026. To order the treasurer to sign the payroll and accounts payable checks dated May 21, 2026, as included in the following manifest, excuse me. Payroll manifest, $80,441.56, and accounts payable manifest, $125,259.26, and, excuse me, total of $205,700.82.
Second.
You gotta read the bottom though,
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
because you're not meeting for 2 weeks.
In order to, what am I doing? Oh, the second one?
Yeah.
Yeah, further where the treasurer's sign.
There we go. This is, to order the treasurer to sign payroll check for May 28th and June 14th, 2026, estimated to be about $185,000. Furthermore, to order the treasurer to sign up to the amount of $250,000 payable that cannot wait until the next scheduled meeting. Reports and annual checks deposits will be reported to the selectmen by inclusion of the manifest memo, the next scheduled meeting.
Still hold second.
Motion made second?
Yeah, second it.
Okay,
You
thank
moved
you.
it.
Okay, all those?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
500. Okay,
You got minutes, I didn't bring them down, but the minutes from May 11th.
I
got them in the email, I had to go to the website, so I didn't see
Yeah.
that.
I mean, you can table them, it doesn't matter, they're
Table.
out there.
Just a question on that, do we have to sign back up with our emails to get them, or with the new website that we have, the new domain name, do we have to re-sign up to be, or are we still on?
Well,
the
that's
mailing
being
list?
looked at, because we did get an email,
Okay,
and Beth sent it off to both IT and the Civic Plus, who's our
I got something
platform.
today for planning, so.
okay.
Okay, so I'm not sure that, Tom sent you guys a snapshot of what happened with his.
Bruce, did the link work though, or did it
I
send?
didn't
it
try
to-
clicking on the, well, I did, I opened the document.
Okay, you opened it, all right, so that's a good sign,
Okay.
all right.
Yeah, that was ordered, or that came to us last night from Tom, and then Beth sent it off this morning, so it may work now.
Okay, all right, that'd be good.
But we'll table that. Administrator's report. I just include everything down through, are we gonna talk about the MRI? I forwarded the MRI contract for fire.
Yes.
I'll just hang on to that moment for now.
I don't have a copy of it, but,
I have it with me, but let me just finish.
okay.
So you all got a copy. I did put together the Moose Plate grant letter as our intention. We'll see what happens in June if it comes back. That's to preserve some of the old documents that we have here. The solar array grant, it has gone off in May 20th. Governor and council are supposed to vote on it. So if you've seen any of the exchanges that I've made, I'm not committing to signing anything until we know that we
Correct.
get the money from the state, because we don't have any extra money. You guys, I also shared with you several visits over to the town hall for the bell. I don't know if you guys, you want to talk about that at all?
Let's talk about, you mind, okay now?
Yep, go ahead.
Bruce, Cam went up with Tom, Chloe, and Neil Kirk first, and it's an event to get up there anyways. And then Cam and I went after, I couldn't make it that night. Cam and I went up separately. We actually rang the bell, and I asked Naomi to open the window so she could hear it. And as far as I'm concerned, the bell physically is a brass casting, it looks okay. All the structure, holding it and pivoting on it, it looks great, unless we suspend gravity, and then it's gonna pop off these saddles for the bearing. As far as the wheel, which is pulled for the bell to be turned, I should say, by the rope for the bell to ring, as long as you're pulling in that direction of the rope, is fine. I wouldn't go pushing on the side of it because it's just not, doesn't have any strength in that direction. So, and then following my ascent with Cam, I gave my friend over here, I said, it's time for you to get up there. So Cam and I, Cam went up to the top again, I already done that once, and so he came down and come with the same opinion. So at least three of us, I think, have an opinion that this bell can be run. There is a shortcoming that needs to be addressed, and the problem is, it looks, I remember the bell rope coming through the ceiling above the foyer, the second story above, between the windows, there's a room up there, same size as the foyer when you first walk in. That's been sheetrock, so there's no more hole. But if you look above it, there is a pulley, wooden pulley, and Benson dug through what,
There's about
a foot?
at least a foot of insulation.
And?
Blown in insulation. And
Right
found,
droppings.
and found the top of the sheetrock.
So,
And there is framing there that the sheetrock is attached to, obviously.
so the recommendation is, and thank you, Benson, for offering his carpentry skills, is to make a hole in the right spot, which is vertical down from the pulley. And I have a piece of oak, which I'm gonna give him when we leave here tonight, to make a bezel to go up on the ceiling. Keep the wear, so when you pull the rope, and if he wants to make a little one behind that, so at least be some oak to prevent it from egging out the ceiling. And I think people could stand on the second story there and that room and ring the bell. And I guess the question for us is, if that's okay, we should have somebody designated to be responsible for that, when that happens, if it's, you know, whoever wants to do it. We should know who it is that's gonna be responsible, and who they're gonna have up there with it.
I think like we talked about, you should probably, I don't wanna say train somebody, but at least let them know that they're not putting all their weight on it to pull that down
Right.
and get the thing swinging, they just wanna get the clapper to hit it.
Correct.
Like you guys did up there with just pulling it down, you know what I mean? So see what the calibrated pull is to make it just do that.
We don't want somebody doing gymnastics on the roof.
Right, and watching the bell swing around like Jack apparently did back
Well,
a
my
few years
other
ago.
6 married pranksters.
Yeah, exactly.
Didn't realize
At
you were doing
13, that was
Quasimodo.
61 years ago, but
Right.
I'm counting. I know a lot more than I did then. So we ought to have somebody assigned as sort of the
Designated.
scout leader, if you will, and then figure out if there's any liabilities for us having people up there.
So the liability we can ask Primex with, but
And
when are we
underage as
ringing
well.
it? I mean, do we know what day we're ringing it yet?
I don't know, that's up to...
Okay, so I think I'll have to get a hold of Neil, maybe?
I think it's the 4th, isn't it?
Okay, no, I need to know when we're ringing it, and then I'll ask Primex about getting people up there. But on that topic, you guys all got an email. Beth had asked the trustees of the trust fund if any of the expenses to, the bell could be covered under the Emma Sawyer Trust. And the answer that Beth shared with us, she said she reached out to the chair of the trustees. According to the response below, the repairs to the town hall could be covered by the Emma Sawyer Trust.
I
And
did
that,
see.
and that had to do with the small amount, but it could be used to repair 3 access ladders in the town hall to access the bell better. That was what our request was, and the answer was that it would be covered by this Emma Sawyer Trust, so whatever.
And Benson volunteered to not quite bring it up to OSHA standards, but make it so that it's...
Safer, safer.
I was thinking
Something
separate.
like we just
Well,
don't stress it.
it'd be hard to make it less safe.
I was gonna say, anything's gonna be an improvement, right? Yeah.
So are we okay with allowing, once they tell us who it's gonna be and Primex is okay, we're good with letting them do it? I am.
I'm sure you already have insurance on
And
file
is
with
that,
them, right?
and how are we gonna decide who's gonna ring it?
Are you talking about?
Well, we need to ask,
Yeah.
is
as a
Kirk,
business?
Yeah, because you did it over there.
is Kirk the responsible party?
He's been the one, to my knowledge.
He's been the point of
here.
contact.
Why don't you ask him what his thoughts are?
Yeah, okay.
I mean, and if there's underage people below 18, we should know about that
Yeah,
too.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
yeah.
Now, there is a little hygiene issue on the second story room there. There's a whole bunch of double seat, 2 centuries ago, seats, which are folding seats, that could be put back into the main room. You know what I'm saying?
The wooden benches?
No, these are folding, like a folding wooden chair.
Oh.
It's 2 people's that fold.
Oh, okay.
2-person folding chair. Must be a dozen of them. And there's a bunch of exercise equipment that's in the vestibule when you go to the top of the stairs, before you go into that little room. It's sort of like the landing. Who owns that?
Oh, is that the yoga club probably putting it
I
up there?
think so.
It's
Yeah.
probably the senior exercise.
So that will probably be leaving as soon as we close the doors.
We're
That'll
gonna,
probably
May
be-
31st, everything's leaving.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so there you go.
And then there's some light stuff up there. Is that part of that? The lights, is that, look like a light. I don't know what it is. Is that part of the yoga stuff?
Looked like exercise equipment stuff.
Okay, it is. And then we have some other stuff left in that room that should be put into the other place,
Yeah,
the big room.
just miscellaneous storage items, you know, chairs.
Kick it into the, maybe into
Put
the
it in the main
kitchen,
hall.
into the kitchen area.
Yeah.
Is it the kitchen upstairs?
Yeah, the upstairs kitchen. out of
Get it
the-
out of that
yeah. And then,
lobby area or foyer, whatever you want to call it, just so it's not there for people to
Yeah,
trip on it
okay.
or eat.
so, pending hearing back from Mr. Kirk, we'll let freedom ring. 2 other items, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you demo it.
Okay, then you're good.
So, a couple other things, I don't know if this is a good place, but I'm gonna bring it up anyways. We have a carrot shed in back of the town hall. which is in bad need of a roof. We tried last year and failed because of the amount of money. We tried last year in the October-ish timeframe, September, October-ish timeframe, to do the East Street barn that we have there, the red barn, and no takers. Maybe it was too late in the year. We could, so, I'd like permission or concurrence from the board to go petition the Mildred Hall Fund and see if they're willing to fund those, both of those, if it could be a combination of possibly the Historical Society, which didn't have enough money last year to do the roof on the carriage shed. But between the two of those funds, to do both of those barns. And there's an extra little piece as well that needs to be done, and we need some more opinions, I think. On the East Street barn, when they redid the road, I'm not blaming the road, but when they redid the road, they elevated the road higher.
Drainage issues.
And it's a drainage issue, and right on the corner, which is closest to the center on the front, there's a hole that's developing from water pouring into the cellar. You go halfway down the building on the cemetery side, there's an even bigger hole. And if you go down and look downstairs, there's a really nice, it's a rubble wall, but the last 4 feet is concrete with a concrete floor. And there must be at least a couple cubic yards of silt and rocks and stuff. So it isn't the little rainstorms that bothers us, because they already have like a ditch they did in asphalt to kind of send it. But when you get these torrential downpours, it just floods over the road. And so I did ask a contractor I know, material in, and make the swale such that it can be mowed, you know, so, because if not, it's gonna look ugly 10 years from now when trees grow out of the riprap. So he came up with something like $8,000 for that. I'm not suggesting we go with that, I'm just suggesting that's a ballpark. And maybe other people should take a look and say, does that make sense doing it that way, or is there another way to do it? The whole issue is when they put the road in, the driveway went like this down to the road, and the water ran off on the other side of the garage. Problem is now, the road is here, and the water falls off and just showers down to the foundation on the cemetery side. So, I don't know if it's worth going up there and getting some ideas on the roofs are pretty straightforward, but this swale, if that ain't the right place for it, before we go write a RFP, we gotta decide.
I'm not discrediting anything you're saying, I think it's all valid 100%. But when I was on the board previously, the way that, when we accepted that barn, the way that the article was written and the way it was at the deliberative session advertised to the public,
Yeah.
is that no dollars from the town.
Well, that's
will
what
be
I'm
invested in
saying.
it. So I'm 100% behind you with the Emma Sawyer and or Historical Society, Mildred Hall or whoever.
Right.
But I just want to
That is true.
point that out, that there was going to be no
And
town funds put into that. It was going to have to come from
But if it
other
comes from
funding
those trust
sources.
funds, then there is no.
What's
town-
that?
If it comes from those trust funds, then it's not town money.
No, that's correct, and 100%. But I just want to say that, you know, obviously, it can't come from the government buildings fund. It can't, you know, I just want to make that clear that we can't take that because that's the way the intention was.
we don't have any
If
money
it-
either.
If it comes from Mildred Hall, if it comes,
Right.
that's different funding sources.
So, I'm happy to go and kind of get this going. Does somebody else want to come with me?
Yeah, I want to go talk with the trust funds, yeah, because I want to go talk about the permit package also.
There's another problem with that, I think, is that, you guys on, is the operating budget piece after 2 years. I mean, that's really the sticking point, not the application. And I did bring it up to one of the members, just as a heads up.
What are we talking about?
Well, this permit software that's been discussed, I don't know if you've been part of that.
I have not.
No, it was before, it was in December, we opened bids for
what'd you do with
permit
this?
software.
Why don't you talk about it?
For building permits,
Yep.
planning permits, zoning permits, have everything online,
Okay.
have all the documentation online.
Yep.
So that everything, as time goes on, everything gets moved to online applications.
And you were gonna ask for the Miller Hall to fund that?
Yes.
But I think the issue's
But
gonna be.
and we're gonna fund it in the future by increasing our permit fees.
Right. So the question is, do you think we can make the operating budget neutral with the fees?
Yes,
If that's the case, then okay, I'm just saying.
that's, we have to do that. I mean, because there's no way we can just add to the operating budget to
I guess,
include
I guess,
the annual expense of the
I guess my
permits.
point is that gonna drive the application fees crazy beyond reason?
And I don't disagree with the sentiment, but my question would be, if we get a default budget and that software, there's no line for it, where does it come from, even if it's self-funded? Where is the pass-through? You know what I mean? In the budget. If you get an approved budget,
Don't we
we're not
have
here.
contracts already?
You have software
Yeah.
in a lot of the budgets, you have software contracts
But a
because
lot of those have gone through an approval
No,
at one point
no,
in
there's a
time.
few that haven't.
the increases have not because we haven't gotten approved
But they
budget.
were existing, weren't
No.
they? Not all
Highway
of them?
department's got a new one.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if we think the magic can happen,
Yeah.
that we're not tapping because we're tapping the operating budget, to your point, that may be an issue of continuing it, so if we probably understand
And
which fees and how much we collect
And
every
that's
year.
kind of why I'm waiting for this fee schedule
Oh,
suggestion from Melissa.
Okay, good.
so, but would the fees be able to be paid for it? And the reason I ask that is because where's the money gonna go? Is it unanticipated revenue, or is it, and
It'll
so
go to
it
general fund.
just goes in the general fund? So that line would always show a loss, but it'd be paid for at the bottom, right?
Well, any of your fees you're gonna increase is gonna go into your general fund right now.
Okay.
Like you're looking
For
at
plan-
fees
for
or.
planning, building, et cetera.
Correct. So I think the thought is to go get it for the first 2 years, but then in time, we would
permit
increase the
pay for it.
budget enough that.
I just wanna make sure it's all, the lines are gonna match, you know
It's
what I
not,
mean?
it would be, you're gonna look for what, 2 years?
Yeah,
Yeah.
So it would be the cost of the software plus 2 years of maintenance, and then after that, but you would want to start increasing your fees.
Right, and I don't disagree with
Right,
that.
and that all
it
goes
gives
in the
us time
general fund
to
though.
catch up, and so it's not just boom all at once.
Right, because I mean theoretically, it has to be a net zero.
Right.
We may not be able to do all this in 1 year, but I want to socialize the whole issue of coming forwards.
Mhm.
So, do you want to be the one
So only
working?
2 of you can go, can't have 3
I
as a
know,
meeting.
but I'm
okay.
saying,
Yes.
you want to do them all? You want to be there for all?
It's 3 separate applications you
Yeah,
have to get.
I'm not talking about yours, I'm talking about all of them.
No, I know what you, yeah, the
bonds.
bonds, yeah, no, I get what you mean, yeah.
All righty,
So you're gonna have 3 separate applications that you guys are gonna go to?
well, maybe 4, unless we combine the swale with the roof.
Yeah, do that as one project, wouldn't you?
Right, for the funding method. Process.
But unless they wanna do it by building, you can,
See, I don't know what we can get done. I don't know how much money they got. They may only want to do the interest. That's why I'm saying, I don't know.
There was, I know that that barn's been talked about for a while. Obviously, since I was on the board, they were talking about putting a roof on it. And the carriage shed's been talked about for a while. The only question I have on the carriage shed is, has anybody actually looked at the substructure that's touching the ground to see if we're putting good money at bad? Is the thing gonna collapse because everything's rotted at the bottom? I thought I remember hearing that there was rot in the bottom of the structure of that.
That I don't know about.
Well, we have Benson take a look at that. He's a rod expert.
When I tapped on the bottom of the roof with a 2x4 and the boards are rotted on the roof.
I don't think you need an expert to go look and say, yeah, that doesn't look good.
Right.
Okay, we done?
I just wanna go back to your MRI, your fire contract.
Well, we haven't got the response back, right?
response back from what?
The fire contract we did.
Oh, okay, so we're all done?
I mean, you got the contract, I
I
shared
guess
it
I
all
read
with you.
that, yes, I'm sorry. Yes. It's basically taking what I kind of wrote and turning it back around.
So this, yeah, and because it's a contract, we have to vote to go into it, right? Or we just
You have
sign
to
it?
vote to enter it, or
We have
just
to vote to enter the
authorize
contract.
someone to,
Right,
right,
yeah,
right.
yeah, I thought so.
And while you have it, you guys all saw, I guess, I don't know if it's correspondence, I'll give it. So, there's a whole host of people that we've reappointed, but has never gone back and finished this part with Pam. We appointed them oaths of office, you guys signed them, but they've never finished their part.
So they're not
So
technically on there.
technically, they're not supposed to be voting at meetings,
That's correct.
which you all saw. We're gonna try to get everybody in here.
Okay.
I thought I was pretty accurate on that. We just need everybody to get in here for the oaths of office, because the votes don't count. I only have one, I just would ask if we could, before we adjourn for the night, if I could have a non-public under,
See
it would
it.
be
Thing happened at Conservation.
Anybody
There was,
else?
Energy meets Wednesday.
Cemeteries met on
Was he done?
I wasn't, but.
He already had a meeting, so he was gonna fill you
No, you
in.
said you already discussed it.
No, there was other things he
Very
did
sorry.
beside
It's
him.
gotta be quick.
I was in the middle of talking, you guys interrupted me.
We do that a lot.
You do. So, going back to people that are signed in, Andy and Zozo on conservation are already, yes, or are aware, and we're abstaining from votes there, so they're aware that they need to come in and get that taken care of. And I think that was it, because we already did the Rolling Hills or the new Eastman Way project, so.
We're done.
We're done.
Thank you. Anybody else?
And now I can tell you that energy meets Wednesday.
Vincent, are you gonna be here
Thank you.
Wednesday?
I will be.
Well, the only reason I ask is because if I have someone on, I haven't given the chair, but if you weren't gonna be, I'd give the chair a key, a fob. Because if one of you are on a committee, not everybody on a committee gets a key, as long as I have one ex officio that's going to be at the meeting. That's why I asked James on last Wednesday.
So, yeah,
Because
I'll be
now with the clerk not here late, so,
here. I see, yep.
so you'll be able to
I'll
let
be
them in.
here.
Okay, thank you.
Cemeteries, we met the 13th, we had a cleanup session at the Muzzy Cemetery on Upper Cranny Hill Road. It was a little wet out there, there was 4 volunteers there, could've used about 12, but we got quite a bit done, and there's still more work to be done up there. We also met on Sunday, this past Sunday, and went to Pine Grove, and we confirmed a lot of the mapping at the new section of Pine Grove, which is closest to East Road. There's some discrepancies that we need to address, but for the most part, we got a lot done. We were there for 3.5 hours, I think.
On
3 hours.
Sunday?
Yeah, on Sunday, yeah.
How many ticks?
I found, well, I don't think I found any, but I think somebody found one, so. But other than that, our next meeting is next month, so.
Thank you. Do we want to do this agreement?
Someone needs to make that motion, yes.
Motion to accept this professional agreement. There's no number on it. What's the number? No, I meant no identifying number.
I don't think there is one.
No. This is an MRI, municipal resource. That's for a cost of not to exceed $3,500. I don't think there's anything else we need.
As a wage and benefit study.
Huh?
For the purpose of.
For a wage and benefit study.
Let me just read it. The scope of work. MRI will provide fire department compensation comparison develop for the purpose of identifying challenges in the recruitment and retention of the fire department staff. The town and MRI will work cooperatively to identify up to 10 comparable communities. MRI will develop a survey that will seek information related to wages, benefits, other variables that, in MRI's experience, impact recruitment and retention. MRI will distribute the survey to comparable communities, receive and process return. The fire chief, Ware Fire Chief, will be responsible for following up with non-responsive chiefs from the other communities. It is understood that not all communities will respond. MRI will present findings and a brief narrative written report.
I'll second the motion.
Any discussion?
How many signature lines are there? Somebody gonna be authorized to enter or sign it?
I think
This 5.
Okay.
Okay, no discussion? All in favor?
Yes.
Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
Okay. No abstention? 4-1-0.
Yeah, you can, he's got other stuff for me too.
Benson has to sign it.
Oh, I'm sorry, sorry.
I got my file ready.
Feverishly waiting.
And so if I don't give it back, then can I go?
Now you want to do the motion to enter?
No, you haven't finished. You got correspondence or other business?
Okay. Well, the other business, we're going to take up after, maybe.
No, do you have any correspondence?
I don't have any correspondence. Do you have any correspondence?
Well, no, I think it was referenced earlier, the one email that we got
One
from
email
Mr.
from
Towns.
Mr. Towns.
I'd
Yeah.
like to hold other business open till after we come out of non-public.
Oh. Okay.
It's hard to do.
Huh?
We can't go back
You want
online.
to, you're not gonna turn the TV back on, but you can make a motion.
We can move. It's okay.
What do you, so do we acknowledge receipt of, or we just leave this alone? Your
No, I think
correspondence?
we should acknowledge receipt of it. and
Okay.
we've-
It had to do with the commercial haulers,
Yeah,
just that we've received it?
Yeah.
Who's to do that? You want me to do that?
Sure.
yeah, go ahead. You want to say who it's from?
I'll just, I mean, I can acknowledge that the board received it.
Okay.
It was discussed tonight earlier.
Good.
It was referenced tonight.
That was referenced, yeah.
Yeah. That's all I have.
Are we ready now?
Or,
We did get one, I don't know, is that what we're gonna talk about?
no, no.
Got another
The
one?
right, the right to know.
Mhm.
We did receive one of them.
Yeah.
So-
Are we ready to go into non-public?
So what's the plan moving forward right now? We're gonna do 2 non-publics and then what?
Do it all in one.
Okay.
We'll do the agenda now before we do that.
What?
I'll set the agenda up. or-
I don't,
next
I mean,
meeting?
you're 3 weeks out, so,
Okay.
I mean,
Alright, That's
so
fine.
the only thing I have on 6-8 right now is the fact that you're gonna have a public hearing and you only made really one correction to the solid waste ordinance
Mhm.
of clear bags.
Okay.
That's the only thing I got. We can add more. You got 3 weeks.
As time goes on.
Out of the discussion. Can we just get into non-public?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye, John.
See you, have a nice evening.
Okay.
Have a good night.
Yeah.
See you, Bruce.
Yep.
Motion to enter in non-public under BCL.
What is it? BCL?
Closed.
Close, please.
Oh, thank you.
Yep. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. James?
Yes.
Yes.
Jack?
Yes.
Yes,
You gonna adjourn after?
probably.
Hang on.